Part 110. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1104. Tiangong Taoist breathed out a heavy breath, not feeling well. You are so happy. Every time you cause trouble, you beat me up. Su Junming sat cross-legged in the chaos. Get out of here, these injuries on my body were all caused by you. The two of them punched each other hard, but no one missed. How is my nephew? Of course, it doesn't matter whose seed it is. Thinking of the two little guys, Su Junming couldn't help but smile. By the way, Nuwa gave birth to a double-yolked egg this time. Tiangong Taoist was stunned for a moment and then reacted. Both. Yes, one boy and one girl. Having said this, the smile on Su Junming's face became even brighter. Haha, this saves trouble. No wonder you smile so brightly, as if you've eaten bee poop. Well. Why are you sighing suddenly? Su Junming shared his experience in Huawangtian with Taoist Tiangong. Looking at Nuwa's cold face in his memory, he finally understood why Su Junming sighed. Given Nuwa's character, it will definitely not be easy for her to admit her fault. But the two children are our breakthrough point. Didn't you give the space talisman? Let them come and visit if there is nothing to do. Wait for the two children to get familiar with you. If you let them serve as the lubricant between you and Nuwa, you will often visit Emperor Wa's house, and your love will grow over time. When the time comes, you, Nuwa, and Mai Mei, and have two children, will be perfect. Su Junming thought for a while. It's good, but I'm afraid it's too good. If it's good, I'll lose my ambition. Sighing, he also wanted to take a peek at the Hongmeng realm, and even the Hongmeng Tianzun, who truly lived the same life as chaos and lived forever. After looking at him, Taoist Tiangong shook his head. You think too much. Although human relations are precious, they will fade over time. The reason why your mind wanders is just that the long vacant relationship between father and son has suddenly been replenished, causing you to worry about gains and losses. It's like a person who has been eating chaffy vegetables all year round. If he suddenly eats a gluttonous feast, he will always be reluctant to part with it. But after eating for a long time, the freshness is gone, and the mood will calm down. If it doesn't work, just use the Dian mirror to give yourself a shot. No matter how restless your mood is, it will calm down. Su Junming took a long breath. You're right, I'm obsessed with it. Just think of it as a way to relax after practicing. And if you can successfully capture Nuwa and practice dual cultivation with her, you will advance to the Hunyuan Golden Immortal level faster, and even reach the realm of Hongmeng. Forget it. This woman is too difficult to deal with. If I had this spare time, I would have become a Hunyuan Golden Immortal long ago. It's up to you. The back garden of Emperor Wa's and Tianuwa's palace is a place of retreat where there are many forbidden laws. Wearing a small white palace dress and braided braids, Su Bui suddenly opened his eyes, his big round eyes darting around, looking like an elf. He made a seal with his little hands and gave a sweet shout. Open! The thick stone door rumbled open to both sides. He dodged and flew out, climbed the stairs, and soon came to a wide hall. In this hall, which is entirely shrouded in milky white aura of creation, 9 white lotuses float according to the directions of the 9 palaces. Su Bui stood on one of the white lotuses with the word Kun engraved on it. The white little feet took a step and instantly came to a white lotus not far away with the word Qian engraved on it. With a thought in his heart, he saw clearly the situation in Balian. The Dian mirror left behind by my father is so useful. It can not only eliminate inner demons, protect the mind, but also see through all forbidden magic circles. With a pinch of the little hand, a spiritual light flew into the lotus. After a while, a boy wearing a red vest and a gold collar flew out. Little sister, if you don't retreat in Linglian, why do you come to my place? I want to see Daddy. There was movement on the boy's face, but his tone was hesitant. But mother will be very angry. He, it doesn't matter. There is a void teleportation array in the portable cave my father gave me. We can move directly there, and my mother will definitely not find it. But, what if my mother finds out? If you are afraid, I will go alone, Su Bogui pouted. Seeing her persistence, she hesitated for a moment. Okay. But we can't stay too long. For sure. The two little guys each returned to the cave, activated the void teleportation array, and their figures and breath disappeared instantly. After the two children left, a stunningly beautiful woman in white palace clothes appeared in the main hall. It was Nuwa, who flew over after noticing the strange movement. She had a complicated look on her face at this moment, and then she sighed heavily after a while. This is Wawangtian. As the master of Wawangtian, the cultivation and realm of the second child are lower than hers. Although she used the space movement formation to move away, how could it be completely hidden from her perception? I tried to stop him several times, but in the end I didn't do it. Children cannot live without their father, and when they already know who their father is and where he is. Moreover, with the protection of the two of them, the two children are safer. Don't forget, don't regret, is this your attitude? The quiet voice echoed in the hall. Complex and with a hint of melancholy. The two little guys kept their feet on the ground, shook their heads, and subconsciously looked around. What you see upon entering is an altar that is hundreds of feet in size and extremely simple. The middle of the altar is flat, surrounded by 8 9-foot-high stone pillars. Complex formation patterns are imprinted on the stone pillars. Although the spiritual light cannot be triggered, Su Buwang uses space to become a Taoist, and he can clearly feel the complexity and profoundness of the formation patterns. What a powerful space formation! It seems that Dad has also made great achievements in space. Brother, look. Su Bogui pointed at the edge of the altar. A black dog about 10 feet in size was lying there. The dog's eyes were slightly closed, and its bark was all over the floor. The expression on his face was half a smile, and he didn't know what he was dreaming about. Su Hui's face was full of curiosity and he crossed his little feet. Brother, what is this? Su Bohuang clasped his hands behind his back and walked to the black dog like a little adult and walked around twice. This monster seems to be the dog my mother talked about. There was some uncertainty in his tone. Dog? The one who eats shit? Su Bogui frowned, his eyes full of disgust. Ah, cut. The black dog sneezed several times and woke up. The dog's mouth is full of harsh words. Damn it, that little bastard Qing Niu must have been talking about Master Go behind his back and ruining Master Go's dream. Damn it, Master Go has been fighting against Niu in his life, from that bastard Niu Kui to Na Teng Huang Niu. The goods, and the green calf now, each of them can't pee in the same pot as Mr. Dog. After finishing complaining, he slowly stood up and turned his head. Hey, why are they two little guys? When did Chongshan get two such young Hunyuan? As he spoke, his nose wrinkled. Hey, why do you smell like a stingy master? As if he didn't believe it, he stepped forward and sniffed it again. The dog's face instantly became wonderful, and his eyes gradually became filled with disbelief. Brother, isn't this dog stupid? It's probably not normal. But why is there a stupid dog here? Su Bogui pouted and asked curiously. I don't know either. Before he finished speaking, the black dog jumped 3 feet high. The dog's face was full of a flattering smile, and the dog's tail swayed for a while. Two little masters, I am not a stupid dog, I am the 9 netherworld dog. I have been with the master since he entered the Taoism. I have been responsible for guarding the important places in Chongshan residence. The two little masters call me Juya Good. The 9 nether dog has been following Su Junming in the world of Liuzai until now. It is almost the royal beast that has been with him for the longest time. After several Yuanhui, his cultivation level has already advanced to the level of Deluo Jinxian. However, it has a cautious temperament. Although it has understood the principles of reincarnation and reached the realm of Yuanyuan, it has not yet reached the limit that the physical body can bear, so it has not gone through the tribulation until now. Just as the two little guys were about to speak, a tall and strong figure not far away wearing a green Taoist robe and a gold rope around his waist suddenly solidified. "Daddy!" After Xiao shouted in surprise, he flew over instantly like a baby swallow falling into his arms. "Haha, okay, okay." Su Junming was overjoyed and held each of them in his arms. Although he had long expected the two children to come back to see him, he still couldn't help but feel excited when they actually met. "Let's go, Daddy will take you to visit my dojo." He activated the escape light and flew away into the distance with the two little ones. The black dog is one of the clones of the underworld dog 9 Nether guarding the teleportation formation, looking at the back of the person leaving in the distance. When did the master have a child? Didn't he devote himself to ascetic cultivation and never indulge in love between men and women? Moreover, I didn't hear that the master had a Taoist companion, so why did he have a child? After being stunned for a moment, he lay down again. It seems that Chongshan residence will be lively in the future. After taking the two little ones to visit inside and outside Chongshan residence, they came to the backyard pavilion and sat down. "Dad, your place is so beautiful, much more beautiful than my mother's WA palace," Su Bui said excitedly. "When you look pretty, you can come here to play more often." Looking at his two little children, Su Junming, who became a father for the first time, fell in love. With a wave of his hand, dozens of lights and shadows flew towards him and fell into the fruit plate next to him. In the blink of an eye, there was a large plate full of peaches, apricots, apples, and hawthorns. The alluring fruity aroma instantly made the two little guys laugh. Seeing this, Su Junming couldn't help but smile. "Eat." "Thank you, Daddy." Su Bui has an out-of-character personality. As soon as he is allowed, he picks it up and stuffs it into his mouth. Su Bui was a steady person by nature. After thanking him, he picked up a peach and ate it slowly. It looked much better than his sister's eating haphazardly. Su Junming didn't say much. Personality is innate and cannot be changed. Not far away, Qingli and Daijun Panling, who was practicing meditation in a lotus, saw this scene and thought to himself. On weekdays, my uncle is most annoyed by others wasting spiritual fruits. Once they are ripe, he will use them to make elixirs. But now the two junior brothers and sisters are quite indulgent. It is true that father and son are connected. Even my uncle can't break away from the human relationship. After eating most of the spiritual fruit, Su Bui squinted his big eyes and patted his belly, just like a cat that had eaten and drank enough to bask in the sun. His whole body felt satisfied from the inside out. In contrast, Su Bui still looked calm and steady at the beginning. "How did you get here?" "Hee, Dad, my brother and I used the teleportation array you left in the cave to come here while our mother was not in retreat. Mother must not know." Seeing her proud look, Su Junming smiled and touched his daughter's soft black hair. Based on his understanding of Nuwa, she would not have failed to notice the departure of the two little guys, but she did not stop them. Su Junming couldn't figure out the meaning for a while. But it's always a good thing. Ching Ching is so smart. Of course. Patted her on the back of the head. "It's a rare occasion for you to come here. Daddy will give you each a gift." Opening up his palms, a jade slip flew into two small hands. Su Bui's jade slip is azure, and Su Bui's is crystal color. "This contains my father's insights into practicing the way of space and the way of time. You should learn more about it after you go back and strive to advance as soon as possible." Xiao subconsciously used his spiritual consciousness to explore, and the obscure passages of space and time were reflected in the sea of consciousness. It's still understandable at the beginning, but it becomes more difficult as you get to the end. Wow, Daddy, the experience here is so profound. Have you already cultivated the way of time to this level? Certainly. Daddy is so awesome. Su Bohuo also looked at his father with admiration. Although they were just born, they began to listen to their mother explain the way of spiritual practice while they were still in their mother's womb. I know that most monks can only practice one fundamental method throughout their lives. Those who are extremely talented and beautiful can only master two things. Not only did my father master both paths, but he also practiced the two most difficult paths of time and space. His realm was so advanced and his talent was so high that it was simply astonishing. No wonder my mother, as a saint and with such a proud temperament, would choose my father. Daddy has some good things for you. Open your palms, and there are 3 gourds per person. This is the elixir that Dad made. The red gourd contains the Hunyuanren Huang Dan, which is needed for refining qi. 1 pill can save 100,000 years of hard work. What is contained in the white gourd is the Hunyuan Qi replenishing pill. This is a healing pill. No matter how severe the physical injury is, taking 1 pill can repair most of it. What is contained in the black gourd is the Hunyuan soul reinforcing pill. This pill is specially designed to replenish the soul. As long as the soul is not broken instantly, this pill can repair it. 100 pills of each of the 3 types of elixirs. When you use them up, come back to Dad to get them. Thank you, Dad. Wait for Erxiao to put away the elixir. Su Junming stretched out his hand, and 2 streams of light flew from the distant creation spirit island. After the aura stopped, a 3-foot-tall willow tree with rich aura appeared, an equally 3-foot-tall apricot tree bathed in the aura of greenwood emerged. The moment the 2 spiritual roots emerged, Su Bogui and Su Bogui instantly sensed the strong charm of space and time on them. Spiritual roots. Su Bogui said excitedly. Su Junming smiled and nodded. The name of this willow tree is Hollow Willow, and it is the companion spiritual root of your senior brother Yang Mei. I took a few branches and cultivated it for many years to obtain this ultimate spiritual root. Turned. Don't forget, you are cultivating the way of space, and you are facing this hollow willow. I will give it to you today. Thank you, Father. After smiling, he activated his magic power and the hollow willow flew to Su Buwang. No regrets, this apricot tree was cultivated from a branch of the top-grade innate spiritual root Huang Zongli. It is also the top-grade acquired spiritual root. It conforms to the way of time. Today, Daddy will give it to you. Thank you, Daddy. The little girl happily took it. These 2 spiritual roots are both the pinnacle spiritual beings of the ancient world. Although they do not have immortal spiritual light and cannot assist in enlightenment, their ability to sort out turbidity is only slightly inferior to the original one. You 2 are now Hunyuan celestial immortals. The ordinary innate spiritual energy is not the same as yours. In the future, you can use these 2 spiritual roots to refine the chaotic spiritual energy and turn it into the Taoist innate spiritual energy to supplement your practice. Yes. Thank you to book friends David Zhu, Hui, Tiandea Wicken, and De Wong for each giving 100 starting coins. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1105. For his biological children, Su Junming certainly prepared more than just this. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, 2 spiritual lights flew out. The light faded, and 2 swords appeared in front of Erxiao. One is 3 feet and 2 inches long, the whole is navy blue, the dragon head swallows the mouth, the back is broad, and the sword energy is extremely sharp. Under the calyx of the sword, there are 2 divine patterns painted in iron and silver hooks. Blue dragon. The other sword is shorter, 2 feet and 4 inches long, and is dark red in color. The blade is slightly narrower, and the hilt is embossed with flying phoenix patterns. Below the calyx of the sword, two divine patterns are also engraved. Red Phoenix. These two swords are for my father's hands to practice. They are 9 forbidden killing weapons for you to defend yourself. Thank you, Dad. The next moment, 2 more rays of light flew out. They are 2 flying boats. It looks like a larger awning boat. The hull of the boat has a mighty aura, which is more powerful than the 2 swords just now. These 2 treasures are called Taijo. They are top quality Hunyuan spiritual treasures that your 7th uncle and I jointly refined. This treasure is not only unparalleled in defense, it was also practiced by my father with the Ruyi divine forbidden sacrifice. It can combine the power of all treasures to fight against the enemy at the same time. It has a wonderful effect. You too should study it more when you go back. In addition, this sail is an array diagram, called the Lianji Mote array. The inner part is yin and yang, the outer part is bagua, and the 9 palaces are assembled. It is profound and mysterious. It integrates trapping, killing, and defense into one. If you encounter a strong force, the enemy can be faced with this formation. With this golden scale Tai boat, you can compete with the Hunyuan Xianxian. Before Erxiao could be happy, 2 more spiritual lights flew out. This time it was 4 jade talismans. 2 green and 2 purple, a powerful spiritual light emanates from the jade talisman. These 4 jade talismans each have their own magical uses. The purple one is the void talisman. If you encounter a critical moment, you can crush this talisman. Even the large formations and magic bands set up by the saints cannot stop it. In an instant, billions of people can teleport. Here, escape. Erxiao looked excited. They could feel the powerful space-time power in the blue jade talisman. The purple jade talisman contains my 3 styles of Taoism. If you are unconscious or have limited movement, this talisman will be triggered, which is enough to protect you in the prehistoric world. Thank you, Daddy. He smiled and patted the 2 little guys on the head, explained time and space to them, and then let them go back. It's better not to take too long when you come out for the first time. Although he was reluctant to leave, the second child was still obedient. Return to the retreat hall through the teleportation array again. Erxiao looked around cautiously. Brother, Mother is not here. Let's go back quickly. We must not let Mother know that we have been out. Su Bugui nodded, stepped forward with his little feet, and quickly returned his confont lotus. Su Buwa was not slow in his movements. When Erxiao disappeared, Nuwa's figure gradually emerged. As soon as my heart moved, everything in the lotus appeared before my eyes. Watching the 2 little guys playing with the treasures in their hands, there was a hint of surprise in their eyes. Whether it is the 2 swords or the 2 flying boats, they are rare chaos spiritual treasures with powerful power. Even he didn't have many in his hands. Why does he have so many treasures in his hands? Apart from being surprised, Nuwa also felt a special emotion in her heart. Su Junming, a father of 2 children, is indeed generous and caring enough. As the saying goes, if there is one, there are 2. With the previous experience, Su Bugui and Su Bugui went to Su Junming's Chongshan residence every now and then, and later to Chaos Stone Ball. Gradually, I got to know Long Di, Ao Tian, Tiangong, and the others, as well as senior brothers and sisters Yang Mei and Zhen Yuanzi. Later, Su Junming also used the excuse of taking care of his children to visit Wawang Heaven. In the beginning, Nuwa was always sarcastic and would not let her see her. Later, as Su Bugui and Su Bugui reconciled, their attitudes began to improve. While Su Junming was trying his best to bridge his relationship with Nuwa, the war between Qiyu and the coalition forces of Yuxiang and Liashan in the ancient times also reached its most tragic moment. A ray of light fell from the sky, as fast as lightning, as if teleporting. Soon he crossed the infinite space and came to an island. This island is about 30,000 miles in diameter and is completely green and black, like a high mountain protruding from the sea, with no trace of green at all. The light dissipated, and a figure wearing a navy blue robe walked out. He has a red rope tied around his waist and a red gourd hanging from it. There is a bamboo stick in his left hand, and his black hair is tied behind his head. With a tall and strong body and extremely strong chi and blood, he does not look like a chi practitioner, but more like a warrior. This should be the Liubo mountain that Master mentioned. Chiyu slapped the gourd on his waist, and a gossip disc flew out. The pointer rotated and quickly designated the island ahead. It is indeed right here. Putting away the Bagua disc, he took a step to the top of the island, activated the Dian mirror to take a look, and after a moment, he looked happy. Found it? The body flew down and soon arrived at the center of the island, where there was a huge valley. In the center of the valley lies a beast that is 10,000 feet tall. It looks like a cow, but it has only one leg and no horns on its head. It is green in color and has a formidable aura. This is it, the mythical beast Kuei Niu. Kuei Niu, who had already reached the realm of Delugo Jinxian, had sharp senses. He suddenly opened his eyes and looked into the air. Who are you? As he spoke, a big drum wrapped in wind and thunder flew out of his body. The mighty thunder resounded through Liubo Mountain, and the thick lightning seemed like thousands of birds chirping in unison, ready to swarm out at any time. Seeing its alert look, Chiyu smiled faintly. I, the seventh patriarch of Chongshan, Tiangong sage, sit down to be the direct disciple of Chu. I have a master-disciple relationship with you, and I have been ordered by my master to come here to help you get started. Seventh patriarch of Chongshan, Tiangong saint. Never heard of it? Kuei Niu shook his head. This answer is not surprising. Tiangong Taoist has never appeared in front of everyone since his enlightenment. Not to mention Kuei Niu, who has been nesting in Liubo Mountain all year round, even people who have traveled around the world have never heard of his reputation. In the future, you will know the greatness and tyranny of your master. Before he finished speaking, suddenly there was a thunderbolt in the clear sky, and among the mighty thunder, thick lightning struck straight at him. Facing the electric light with a diameter of several hundred feet, Chiyu's expression remained unchanged. As expected, it is indeed a wind and thunder beast. The ability to control thunder is very powerful. However, there is still a long way to go to defeat the master. Raise the bamboo stick in your hand and brush gently. The mighty greenwood aura soared into the sky, and the flying thunder was like a mantis using its arms as a chariot, being crushed instantly. The remaining power did not fade, and it pressed towards Kuei Niu like lightning. The latter's face changed drastically, and there was a thunderous roar, and the blue drum vibrated. In an instant, there was loud thunder and lightning, like a volcano erupting, rising into the sky. Its power is not as strong as that of the greenwood spiritual light. But when the two sides touched, it was like an egg touching a stone, and the lightning was crushed to pieces again. Kuei Niu's expression changed greatly. How can it be? Haha, although your magic weapon is good, it is far inferior to my middle-grade Hunyuan Lingbao green bamboo staff. My teacher has reached the level of Hunyuan true immortal, but you are no more than Delugo Jinxian, and your soul is not here. At the same level, there are gorgeous lightning techniques, but they can't compare to my Aoki divine light. As he spoke, he pressed the green bamboo stick, and the greenwood divine light was faster than lightning, instantly covering Kuei Niu. The latter struggled wildly, but the greenwood divine light was unimaginably tough and contained boundless power. It quickly trapped Kuei Niu, then slowly shrank and flew towards Chiyu. His face changed slightly. Turning his head, a huge bluestone seal struck him hard with earth-shaking power. Chiyu stood with his hands clasped on his chest, his expression solemn. Tiangong Divine Hammer. The next moment, a giant double-headed hammer tens of thousands of feet tall, shrouded in bronze aura, suddenly appeared in mid-air. He struck at the giant bluestone seal that was flying towards him with astonishing force. Boom. The earth-shaking loud noise shook the surrounding area for hundreds of millions of miles. Liubo Mountain was shaking endlessly, and the rolling waves set off huge waves of millions of feet, crushing crazily towards the surroundings. The huge movement was extremely shocking. Deng deng, Chiyu took 2 steps back. Staring at the giant bluestone seal that was shaken away, there was surprise in his tone. As expected, it is worthy of being practiced by Yuan Tianzun. This heavenly seal is so powerful. At this time, Kuei Niu had been compressed to size by the green wood divine light, like a green calf hanging on a green bamboo stick. I had the intention to continue to learn a lesson, but thinking of the instructions from my master and uncle, I had to suppress my desire to fight. With a stroke of the green bamboo stick, a space channel opened in front of me. After the body transformed into a escaping light, it flew in and disappeared instantly. After he left and lost the enemy's aura, Fan Tianyin instantly shrank and flew into the hands of an old Taoist wearing a yellow Taoist robe, with white beard and hair, and a solemn expression. Next to him, there was a middle-aged man wearing a red Taoist robe with a bronze mirror floating above his head. Senior brother Guangcheng, who is that person? He can actually defeat your Fantian seal with just his magical powers. Guangchenzi was a little unbelievable when he recalled the fight just now. This heavenly seal is a high-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure that was personally practiced by the teacher, Yuanqi Tianzun, using half of Buzhu Mountain. It has infinite power. Ever since I got it, every sacrifice I've made has been satisfactory. Today was the first time he encountered someone who could block Fan Tianyin using only his magical power. That person's cultivation has definitely advanced to the Hunyuan level, and he may be a Hunyuan true immortal or even a mysterious immortal, Guangchenzi concluded. Senior brother, thank you, but the Kuei Niu has been taken away by this person now. We can't get the Kuei Niu and can't refine the treasure. How can we help the Xiong family break Chiyu's formation? Qi Jingzheng said worriedly. Guangchenzi frowned. He came to capture Kuei Niu on the orders of his teacher, Yuanqi Tianzun, but he didn't expect that he was caught first. I can only go back and report it to the teacher. Qi Jingzhe didn't have any good ideas, so he nodded in agreement. After activating the teleportation array in the cave, Qiyu returned directly from the ancient times to the teleportation array on the Kixuan cliff outside Kongshanju. Zhu, who was guarding the formation, glanced at him, shook his ears a few times, and continued to sleep. Qiyu, who was not here for the first time, flew out of Jinding Peak, one of the 7 mysterious cliffs, and headed straight for the bamboo forest on the central divine peak. Follow the stone path passing through the forest to the outside of the courtyard. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1106. Disciple Chiyu asks to see the great uncle. Not long after, the wooden door opened with a creak, and a beautiful little girl with braids walked out. Senior brother Chiyu, my father wants you to go in. Junior sister Bagui is here too. To this day, most of the direct disciples of Chongshan sect know Su Bugui and Su Bugui. My brother and I will come to daddy's place to play. Chiyu nodded and walked in. Yang Bugui led him to the living room. Looking at the great uncle sitting high on the throne, Chiyu bowed down and bowed down. Disciple Chu, I would like to pay my respects to my uncle. My uncle's holy life is boundless. No need to be polite, just get up. Thank you, master. After standing up straight, he spread his right palm and a bamboo stick emerged. At the top of the bamboo stick, where the second strand of bamboo joints was connected, several thin bamboo branches trapped a palm-sized green one-legged calf. The calf was like a wooden sculpture, unable to move at all. Fortunately, my disciple has lived up to his command. He has gone to Liubo Mountain in person, captured the Kuei Niu and returned. Please ask the master uncle to take care of him. Su Junming stretched out his hand and the Kuei Niu flew into his hand. After a brief glance, he returned it to Chi Yu. The reason why he asked Chi Yu to bring the Kuei Niu back was because he didn't want to see it innocently killed by Guangqinzi. After all, his first mount was Kuei Niu, and he still had some feelings for this thunder beast. This beast will be given to you as a registered disciple. If it is worthy of training in the future, it will not be too late to take it under the door. Disciple, obey. Go ahead. Disciple resigns. Wait a minute. After stopping Chi Yu, the battle between the Renhuang clan is almost over. You let Chi Wu act according to the plan and get out of the vortex as soon as possible. Chi Yu nodded, with a look of hesitation on his face. Teacher, with my Chongshan strength, I can support Chi Wu to take the throne of the human emperor. Even if the three purities intervene, it will only be a draw. You. After waving his hand to interrupt him, I understand what you mean. Don't forget, Sanking is just a disciple of Hung Jun. Compared with Suanmin, my Chongshan power is far inferior. Its disciple Meng Lang. I can understand that you are reluctant to give up the Julai tribe that has worked hard for millions of years, but if you don't have the strength, you can't get it even if you force it. He looked deeply at Chi Yu. If you want to grasp what you want, you must practice hard and strive to advance to Hunyuan Golden Immortal and even the realm of Hongmeng as soon as possible. Disciple understands. Su Junming waved his hand, and Chi Yu retreated. The wild land of wild animals. This is a great plain that stretches hundreds of millions of miles across. At this moment, the plain is shrouded in heavy fog. Two huge armies faced each other across the white mist. The army in the east wears black helmets and armor. They are majestic and fierce, but their numbers are relatively small. There are two types of armies in the west, one with red helmets and red armor, and the other with yellow helmets and yellow armor. The latter has significantly more people and is more powerful. In the center of the Eastern Army, a large formation was arranged, and the palace reinforced by formations was simple yet magnificent. In the huge hall in the center, Chi Wu, who is hundreds of feet tall, is sitting on the main seat, and has already received the message conveyed by this deity. On the right below are the leaders of the 81 tribes of Julai, and on the left are seen Tian, Jufeng, Juying, Fengbo, Yushi, and a group of powerful witch tribes. When it came to the most critical moment, even they couldn't help but leave the field in person. What are the movements of the Xiong and Liaishan coalition forces today? Standing on the right was a burly man with a lion's nose and a wide mouth. His energy and blood had reached the peak of Deluo. Your Majesty, Tianuba deliberately destroyed the 99 clouds and mist enchanting heaven-shaking formation, but it has been stopped by the two wizards, Fengbo and Yushi. A strong man wearing black fur and a horned helmet stood up. Your Majesty, most of the Xiong Liaishan coalition forces are at their wits' end. In my opinion, let's kill them now. If they are caught by surprise, they will be hit hard. Your Majesty, attack. Everyone clamored, and over tens of millions of years, most people in the Julai tribe had practiced the Wu clan's techniques. The Wu clan's skills collect evil spirits, and evil spirits are the easiest to distort the mind. Therefore, there are not many people in the Julai tribe who have good brains, and everyone knows how to kill. Of course, the same is true for Chi Wu. If his speech and behavior were not controlled by Chi Yu, he would have led the Julai tribe's army to kill him long ago. An old man nearly 10 feet tall with gray hair stood up and said solemnly, Your Majesty, the Xiong Liaishan coalition forces are several times larger than our Julai army, and they are assisted by a military formation that is no less than ours. Although the attack now has a chance of victory, it is more likely to be severely damaged by the coalition forces. In the opinion of the veteran, we should rely on the 99 clouds and mist enchanting heaven-shaking formation to further weaken the number of the coalition forces, accumulate small victories into big victories, and have enough confidence to once again create a new coalition force. Obviously, this is an extremely sound strategy. After waving the old man to sit down, Chi Wu's sharp and profound eyes swept over everyone. What do you think of Dazai's plan? Dazai's strategy is too conservative. If the stalemate continues, how long will it last? Our Julai's money and food are already tight now. If the army of hundreds of billions continues to be here, we don't have to wait for the coalition to defeat us. At most, we will be in trouble for 100 years due to lack of resources. He was defeated for lack of food. Although there are many strong men in the Julai tribe's army, most of them are ordinary soldiers who don't even have golden elixirs. They don't know how to practice Qi and rely on food to maintain their physical strength and energy. If there is not enough food to eat, there is a high probability of collapse. Yes, we can't wait any longer. If we wait any longer, the food will be gone. Once the soldiers mutiny, we will definitely be defeated. At that time, the entire Julai kingdom will become a place of death for wanton humiliation by the coalition forces. There was a lot of discussion and excitement among the people. Dazai, who was deep in the eye of the storm, didn't seem to hear everyone's words. His eyes were slightly closed, but he still looked calm. When everyone was done arguing, Dazai suddenly opened his eyes, stood up and said in a deep voice, "Your Majesty, my old minister is bold. There are people behind the coalition forces who interpret the three religions, and even the entire Suanman. We, the Julai clan, have no reason to win in a fight with them. So, veteran minister, I am bold. I hope that the king will stop fighting and make peace, and both sides will divide their national boundaries according to their current territories." As soon as these words came out, the whole hall was in an uproar. Even Xing Tian and others who had been silent on the opposite side looked over in surprise. After waving his hand to suppress the shouts and curses from everyone, "Dazai, we have been fighting with the Xiong Liashan coalition for millions of years, and hundreds of billions of our own people have died at the hands of both sides. It can be said that the hatred runs deep. Do you think it is possible for us to shake hands and make peace under this situation?" Dazai Chi Wenzhong had profound wisdom. Of course he would not have thought of what Chi Wu said. Your Majesty is wise, but over the years, we have suffered a lot of losses, and the Yushailai Mountain Alliance army has also suffered heavy losses. More importantly, their army has more people than us, and the money and food they need is several times that of ours. I think they must also. I want to end the war as soon as possible. Although Chi Dazai's idea is good, it is destined to fail. Zhu Feng, who had been silent until now, suddenly said. Chi Wenzhong frowned. Please ask the Great Wizard for advice. Including Xing Tian, everyone within Julai holds the position of Great Wizard. The fight between the Julai clan and the Yuxian Liashan clan earns the fortune of the emperor. If the Julai clan retreats, unless they give up all the seaside land to the Yuxian clan and surrender. Even if you plan to make peace, they will not won't. Dazai Chi Wenzhong frowned instantly. He had also heard about the dispute between the Renhuang clan, but he never paid it much attention. This time when Zhu Feng pointed it out, he felt heavy in his heart. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1107. Seeing the heavy atmosphere in the hall, Chi Wu stood up. His tall and strong body showed great pressure. The tiger soul demon sword placed at his hand seemed to sense the evil spirit of its owner. It buzzed and trembled, and the cold and murderous spirit swarmed. And rise. At this moment, even Xing Tian, Zhu Feng, and others felt a heavy pressure. Chi Wu is now the top wizard in the realm of Hunyuan Celestial Immortal. His strength is still higher than Feng Boyu Master, second only to Xing Tian, Zhu Feng, and Zhu Ying. The strong strength is also the reason why Chi Wu can subdue everyone, even the great witch of the Wu clan, and is firmly seated as the leader of the Julai clan. Everyone, we have no retreat from this battle. We must either win or give up the coastal land. A big man in armor suddenly stood up. I, Li Wen, would like to follow the king, fight to the death and defeat the Xiong Liashan coalition. I, Li Bai, am also willing to follow the king. And I. All the Julai clan leaders stood up one after another. Chi Wu nodded with satisfaction and turned around. What do you say to these great wizards? Several people exchanged glances, and Zhou Feng said in a deep voice, since we have followed Julai, we should advance and retreat together with the king. Haha, very good. With everyone's help, there is no need to worry about Xiong Liashan. At this moment, a messenger wearing leather armor flew over with the escape light. Your Majesty, the Xiong Liashan coalition forces are attacking the formation. Tianu Ba, Ying Long, Feng Ho and other coalition generals have all dispatched. Before he finished speaking, a majestic voice came from afar. Chi Yu, come out and fight me. No one knew that Chi Yu in their eyes was actually just an evil corpse clone of Chi Yu himself. It's Swan Yuan's voice. He grabbed the tiger soul demonic sword, and his whole body was full of momentum. Fight with me. The crowd roared in response and rushed out immediately after. Looking at the retreating figure, Zhou Feng said in a message. You can't do anything, don't insist on it, save your life is the most important thing. Zhu Ying, Feng Bo and Yu Shi nodded at the same time, and Xin Tian frowned slightly. Although he did not agree with Zhou Feng's statement, he also knew that the current strength of the Wu clan was declining and could no longer withstand the wear and tear. Every great wizard is extremely valuable. Looking at the figure flying in the distance with an astonishing aura, Ji Xianyuan, who was wearing a yellow dragon robe, took a deep breath and turned his head. The enemy troops have come out in full force. Please ask the teacher to cast a spell to break their formation. Guang Chenzi nodded. Disciple, please be patient and don't be impatient. Let's watch the master perform the magic. With a wave of his sleeves, a powerful spiritual light shot up into the sky, and in an instant turned into a large blue drum in mid-air. The powerful thunder charm emanates from it. The sound of rolling thunder covers tens of thousands of miles. Guang Chenzi took a deep breath and activated his magic power to vibrate the drum. Boom! The huge drum sound is like the opening of heaven and earth, shaking hundreds of millions of miles around. A mighty thunder, with a powerful masculine rhyme, rushed forward like a roiling tide like lightning. The thick fog was instantly torn apart by the thunder. Visible to the naked eye, a broken Dharma flag fell from mid-air. Seeing this, Ji Xianyuan and Guang Chenzi showed joy on their faces at the same time. Uncle Tongtian's fishing drum is indeed the top spiritual treasure of the Thunder Path. It is too powerful. Qi Jingjing, who was watching the battle from the side, looked at the huge drum entwined with endless thunder and lightning in the sky, and his heart was filled with wonder. After failing to kill Kuei Niu, he and his senior brother Guang Chenzi went back to the mountain to ask for help from their teacher Yuan Shi Tianzun. The master asked them to go to Jinao Island in person and ask Master Tongtian for help. Although Uncle Tongtian mocked their master, for the sake of the three pure ones, he gave it to them. This time it was used, it was indeed powerful. Dong dong dong. The huge sound of drums resounds throughout the world, symbolizing the mighty masculinity and warding off all evils. In the majestic sound of drums, the 99 clouds and mists enchanting heaven-shaking formation set up by Qi Wu and Wu clan was broken bit by bit. Qi Wu and even Xin Tian thought about destroying the thunder sound, but they were tightly entangled by the masters of the coalition forces. Ha ha ha, Qi Yu, your Julai clan will definitely be defeated this time. A tall, gray-haired man holding a huge sword, with a cheerful smile on his face. Although he was beaten badly by the opponent, he could still persist. As long as the formation is broken, the coalition forces with a large number of people can completely defeat the Julai army. At that time, even if Qi Wu fights, no matter how hard he fights, he will be unable to save his life. Damn it! After scolding angrily, Chi Wu took out a sky blue magic talisman from his magic bag and pasted it on the tiger demon's sword. Cracked out violently. Amidst the earth-shattering tiger roar, a fierce sword energy surged forward like a volcano erupting. Feeling the ferocity of this blow, the gray-haired man looked solemn, holding the sword in both hands and slashing 3 times in a row. The powerful sword energy was like a raging wave, surging like wind and clouds. The two sides were about to collide. Suddenly, a ray of azure light flashed through. The fierce sword energy disappeared instantly. The gray-haired man was instantly shocked, before he could recover. 3 feet away in front of him, a space crack opened instantly, and the surging sword energy flew out instantly. The distance was too close and the speed was too fast. He only had time to block the sword in front of him. Laugh. The screams shook the whole place. The gray-haired man looked at the separated corpses. Li Mu. Ji Xianyuan was shocked and extremely angry. This is his general second only to Ying Long, and his martial arts training has reached the level of a low-ranking martial saint. After killing the guy who was in the way, Chi Wu looked at the big blue drum in the distance, took a deep breath, activated the energy and blood all over his body, and slashed out. Roar. The fierce roar of the tiger was heard thousands of miles away. The sharp sword energy is like the Yangtze River, rushing straight towards the fishing drum. Teacher, be careful with the magic weapon, Ji Xianyuan quickly reminded. Haha, it's nothing. It's just a low-grade Hunyuan Lingbao, but I can't help but fish the drum. Guangqinzi looked confident. He once heard his teacher Yuan Shitianzun mention that when he, Taking, and Shangqing were practicing Taoism in the Kunlun Mountains, they had different opportunities. The saints of Taking got the Xianhuang exquisite pagoda of heaven and earth, the saints of Yuqing got the Yuanxi treasure box, and the saints of Shangqing got the fishing drum and the purple electric hammer. Needless to say, the exquisite pagoda of heaven and earth's Xianhuang merit is the most precious treasure in the world, the sacred weapon of merit, and its defensive capabilities are ranked first among all treasures in the world. It is even better than the Chaos Bell, Tai Chi diagram and Pangu flag. Although the Yuanxi treasure box is not a sacred artifact of merit, it is also a top-quality Hunyuan spiritual treasure with 11 Hunyuan restrictions. The fishing drum and the purple electric hammer are a set of magic weapons. When separated, they are the fishing drum and the purple electric hammer with 11 Hunyuan restrictions. If they are put together, they are the top Hunyuan Lingbao with 12 Hunyuan restrictions. Thunder drums reaching the sky. Most of the later Taoist names of the 3 Qing dynasties came from these 3 treasures, which shows their importance. Boom. The huge drum sound shattered Chi Yu's sharp sword energy. Ji Xianyuan saw it and sounded envious. This treasure is truly remarkable. Guangqinzi smiled. It's a pity that Uncle Tongtian has sealed most of the power of this treasure, otherwise he could have completely killed Chi Yu with just this fishing drum. Xianyuan, the 99 clouds and mists enchanting heaven-shaking formation has been broken, and the army can go out. Ji Xianyuan looked at the dissipating fog and felt excited. Bang the drum, attack. With one command, the huge and rhythmic drum sound shook the whole place. Ouch! Accompanied by the huge roar of the dragon, the armies that looked like giant dragons rushed towards the Julai army, who had revealed their figures with neat steps. Qinglong Battle Formation. There is a military formation that the Xiong clan uses to counter the Julai clan's Swanyan battle formation. Following the earth-shattering cry of killing, countless Xiong Liashan coalition forces carrying the Qinglong battle flag fought with the Julai army carrying the Swanyan battle flag. Hundreds of billions of troops are fighting, and endless killing energy rises into the sky. Soon, the endless death energy entangled with the madness, fear, and other thoughts after death, turned into a powerful evil energy. This evil spirit is so strong that great shamans such as Xing Tian, Zhu Feng, and Zhu Ying can withstand it, but qi refiners such as Guangqinzi, Qi Jingjing, and Ji Xianyuan are as afraid of it as tigers. Avoid early. Ji Xianyuan, fight with me. Qi Wu sat astride the black tiger, wearing a black bull-headed battle armor, holding a tiger soul magic knife, and rushed towards Ji Xianyuan like lightning. The body of 100 feet was covered in black and red blood, like a demon god coming out of the depths of hell. I'm afraid you won't make it. Ji Xianyuan stepped onto the 5-clawed golden dragon next to him. The latter roared angrily and rushed straight towards Qi Wu with billowing dragon energy. Ha ha, kill. The tiger soul demon sword slashed down in the air, and the surging sword energy was like the Yangtze River, rolling in. Ji Xianyuan showed no fear, raised his sword finger with his right hand, and with a choking sound, a surging red sword energy, like the Milky Way pouring out, rushed towards him crazily. Boom! In the astonishing roar, the sword energy and light were scattered in all directions. The void shook, countless space cracks emerged, and everything around was torn apart. The two looked at each other, with the desire to kill in each other's eyes. Cut. Kill. The sword light and sword energy became stronger again. Ji Xianyuan and Qi Yu were not the only ones fighting. Siem Tian, Zhe Feng, Zhu Ying, Feng Bo, Yu Shi, and the strong men from the Julai tribe all died. The Xiong Liashan coalition's side is no less impressive. Yinglong from the Dragon clan directly faced Siem Tian, Feng Hao blocked Zhe Feng, Tian Bo blocked Yushi, and Guangqinzi barely held Fengbo back with the Pantheon seal, Soul Falling Bell, and other treasures. Red Sperm brought the Yin and Yang realm, Bagua Purple Ribbon immortal clothes and water and fire peak, as well as the fishing drum obtained from the leader of Tongtian cult, to drag Zhu Ying. Soldiers against soldiers, against generals. The two sides fought together, and the battle for the throne of the human emperor truly reached its climax. This fierce battle spread across the entire eastern wasteland and was the most intense since the Lich War in ancient times. It soon attracted the attention of the entire prehistoric world. If a person with divine eyes looks from a distance, in the wilderness of the eastern wilderness, a huge pillar of black and red evil energy with a diameter of nearly 10 million trillion miles rises into the sky. Such a strong evil spirit and astonishing power can be clearly felt by any Qi practitioner who has entered Deluo. Even those who were in seclusion were awakened from the avenue by the soaring murderous aura. What's more, the war in Zuluzai has lasted for nearly 100 years. Unless you are not in the prehistoric times, no one knows it and no one knows it. Thanks to the book friend Zhang Tiandaoshan for the 500 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1108. In the chaotic stone ball, a water mirror with a diameter of tens of thousands of feet lay across the chaos. Even if the energy of chaos was extremely violent, it was not damaged at all. Su Junming sat cross-legged on one side, and Taoist Tiangong in yellow robes sat on his left. Behind the two of them, Yang Mei, Zhang Shinian, Feng Zhangling, Zhen Yuanzi, Qinglian Daijun, Shui Zhangyang, Qi Yu, and ancestor Hongyuan were arranged in order. Behind Zhen Yuanzi, there were also Chisongzi in red robes and Ling Kongzi in cyan robes. Thanks to Su Junming's Dian Divine Mirror, Zhen Yuanzi, the second direct disciple, also successfully survived the catastrophe, advanced to the realm of Hunyuan Celestial Immortal, and was able to practice in the Chaos Stone Ball. Among everyone, Qi Yu is the most special, because the Julai clan is his tribe, and Qi Wu is also his evil corpse clone. Are you really not going to intervene? Tiangong Taoist preached. No, Qi Yu and Xian Yuan were fighting, and the fighting was fierce. In fact, it was several levels weaker than the Fengshen killing tribulation. There was no need to end it personally. Moreover, Lao Ba has not been born yet, and we are not ready to deal with the worst. To prepare for bad situations, you will have less trouble with cause and effect. And the emperor's status alone is not worthy of our action. Taoist Tiangong nodded. I just don't know if the three religions of Ren Chanji can bear it. Sanking will definitely not end directly. At most, he will let his disciples take action, just like Guangquanzi and Qi Jingzi. At this time, a sudden change occurred in the water mirror. Thousands of escaping lights flew from the west. After joining the occupation, Ji Xuanyuan's morale was greatly boosted. It seems everything is as you expected, Tiangong Taoist said. The leaders of these thousands of immortal lights are the remaining 10 among the 12 golden immortals such as Kiliasun, Tai Genren, Manjusri, and Guangfa Tianzun. The rest are casual practitioners who practice in Kunlun Mountain and occasionally listen to Yuanji Tianzun's sermons. However, there are no Yunzongzi, Antarctic Immortal and Ran Deng Taoist among them. I remember that in the Conferred Gods War, the 12 golden immortals were eliminated by Yungziao with the Hunyuan golden dough on top of the 3 flowers, and the mana of more than a dozen Yuanhui cultivations was lost. The reason was that they committed the red dust killing tribulation and failed to advance. Hunyuan. It seems that this mortal massacre is the battle between Xianyuan and Qi Yusu, Junming said. Taoist Tiangong nodded and said no more. After a while, something unexpected happened again. A group of bald heads flew from the west and joined Xiong Liashan's side. Teacher, people from the west are here. Taoist Duobao looked at the situation in the water mirror with a slightly solemn expression. Leader Tongtian stared at the changes in the water mirror and did not speak. After a while, Duobao hesitated. Teacher, we both belong to the Sanking lineage, do we really not want to help the second uncle? No need. Didn't I see that Suandu, your uncle's sect, is not here? Moreover, I have given Guangquanzi the treasure of fishing drum, which can be regarded as helping him. Taoist Duobao nodded. The second uncle is really arrogant and arrogant. He would rather ask Western teachers for help than come to us to teach him. Leader Tongtian frowned. Since the separation of the Sanking family, the gap between the second brother and him has become deeper and deeper. Yugzu Palace in Kunlun Mountain. Yuanji Tianzun also frowned. He looked at the Western sect members who came to help with deep eyes. He never thought of asking for help. Suddenly, a ray of light flew toward Kunlun Mountain like lightning and arrived in front of Yugzu Palace, but was blocked by the formation. He stretched out his hand and the light flew into the hall and turned into a talisman in his hand. After unfolding, several lines of text fell into the eyes. Fellow Taoist Yuanji, I, the Western cult, are willing to help you conquer Julai. The simple divine pattern, but the profound meaning behind it is worth thinking about. It's really cunning to accept Yinzunti, but if you think this can divide my friendship, then you think too low of me. Staring at the water mirror, he pondered for a moment, then slowly put down his hands. The battle in the Zulu field is in full swing. Letting the Westerners withdraw at this moment would be too damaging to morale and a wise man would not do it. In Mount Sumeru, he received Zunti and sat under the Bodhi tree. There is also a water mirror in front of them, showing the battle for the emperor hundreds of millions of miles away. Senior brother, in just a short while, our Western sect has lost 53 people. Junior brother, are you feeling distressed? Of course, my West is poor, and it is extremely difficult for every monk who achieves Buddhahood. Haha, don't worry, junior brother. As long as you and I remain standing, great Luo monks who have achieved Buddhahood will continue to appear in our Western religion. Zunti nodded, senior brother, can this really drive a wedge between Sanking? Of course this alone won't work. But if the water drops penetrate the stone, the rope cuts the wood, there are too many of the same things. Once they break out, they will never stop. What's more, the teachings of the two sects of Jaichen are inherently opposed. If Sanking hadn't been brothers, they would have been killed by now. They became enemies of life and death. So, don't worry about the outcome of this intervention. Just seize every opportunity to alienate the relationship between the three purities. Over time, you will definitely see results. The Taoist priest's eyes sparkled. Seeing how his senior brother's Hizu was holding it, Taoist Zunti nodded. What the senior brother said is absolutely true. The three pure sects are all arrogant. As long as the prejudices between the three people continue to deepen, a war will definitely break out. When people understand the decline of the three sects, we, the Western sect, will be able to spread the word to the Eastern wasteland. Became the largest religion in the world. The guide smiled, but soon frowned. Brother, what's wrong? Compared to Sanking, I'm more worried about Chongshan Academy. Chongshan. Taoist Zunti instantly recalled the memory of being blasted by true monarch Chongshan in the chaos, and his face couldn't help but become a little gloomy. He was severely beaten by a later saint, and his face was completely humiliated. Chongshan Academy has always been hiding in Buzhu Mountain. It has no ambition to make progress. It is impossible to threaten our Western religion. And although Su Junming is strong, he is no match for my two senior brothers. After looking at him, Jian shook his head. Although Su Junming is no match for you and me, how can someone who can become a saint without relying on Hongmeng purple chi be like ye? If it were you, could you hold back and let the Western religion stop expanding within 300 trillion miles around Mount Sumeru? Zunti frowned, pondered for a moment and then shook his head. If he could really hold back, he wouldn't have run away to the east again and again. Senior brother, what do you mean? Su Junming is deliberately hiding his clumsiness. If we think about it from another perspective, this should be the case. As you said, he is the only one, except for Nuwa, who is no match for Ji Chan and my Western section. It is the wisest choice to lie dormant and wait. Zunti nodded. In this case, how should I, the Western Church, deal with it? Just pay attention. Now the human beings are the biggest force in the ancient times. The existence of Chongshan is actually a good thing for us now. What senior brother said is true. With Chongshan involved, we can prevent Mr. Yuanqi from always looking at our Western religion. The Taoist leader smiled and nodded. When our Western sect replaces Renji Chan and becomes the largest sect in the world, it will not be too late to be wary of Su Junming. Senior brother, is it possible to drag Su Junming to teach in the West? Junior brother, are you willing to let go of your grudge against Su Junming? It's just hatred, but it's actually not that big. If Su Junming is really willing to join our sect, it doesn't matter if I give him the position of second leader. Junior brother has this intention, which is really a blessing for my Western religion. However, as the leader of Chongshan, how can Su Junming be subordinate to me? Moreover, Chongshan is a Taoist sect, which is completely different from my Western practice method. It is difficult to integrate it. Disaster. Jiyan shook his head. Suddenly, the situation in Zuluzai changed again. A bright golden light, like thunder and lightning, fell from the sky so fast that it arrived almost instantly. Zhu Feng is fighting with Feng Ho. The latter is an innate god, and has been worshipped by more than a dozen Yuan Hui clans. Xiong clan has been blessing him since ancient times. He has advanced cultivation and is a Hunyuan true immortal. Although Zhu Feng is also a true immortal of Hunyuan, compared with him, he is only half a pound to 8 ounces. Therefore, after hundreds of years of fighting, despite consuming a huge amount of blood and mana, both sides still maintained an invincible situation. However, many years of fighting had consumed Zhu Feng's energy. Faced with a sudden attack, he had no time to protect himself and was actually penetrated by the golden light. Ah! The shrill screams shook thousands of miles. Feng Hao was worthy of being a powerful person who had practiced more than a dozen Yuan Hui and had rich experience. Taking advantage of Zhu Feng's heavy damage, she waved the gale flag in her hand, and countless wind blades flew towards Zhu Feng in an instant. In an instant, the bodies were separated and they died unexpectedly. 9 Phoenix. The extremely angry voice swept through the entire place like thunder. Billions of miles of void were shaken by violent sound waves, followed by furious waves of energy and blood, rolling in like a river bursting its banks. Full of evil spirits, eyes red, and furious, Xing rushed over crazily. Before he even got close, the Xing battle axe in his hand had already been chopped down. Boom! The void for billions of miles shook, and the vast light of the axe, like lightning, struck directly behind the wind. Yinglong quickly caught up and stabbed out the spear in his hand, hoping to save the enemy if he wanted to attack him. But the huge shield in Xing hand firmly blocked the light of his spear. At this moment, Xing, who was just delaying time and not trying his best, burst out with all his strength in extreme anger. He was already close to the peak of Hunyuan True Immortal, but his strength was still higher than that of Yinglong and Feng Ho. Looking at the giant axe that seemed to cut the sky in half, Feng Ho's expression changed drastically. Her Gale flag could not stop this powerful axe. Without thinking, he activated the spirit treasure and fled into the distance like lightning. Xing didn't chase her. He hated Feng Ho, but he was even more ruthless towards the villain who was plotting behind her. At this time, the golden light inserted behind Zhufeng revealed his figure. It was a golden crutch with an embossed dragon head. Dragon head crutch. Hao Tian, you deserve to die. Xing suddenly raised his head and looked deep into the sky with his blood-red eyes. He once fought with the ancient demon clan and knew exactly where the heaven was. With one step, the figure disappeared instantly. Soon we arrived at the location of the ancient demon court. Although several yuan we had passed, the heavenly court still maintained the layout and general appearance of the ancient demon court era. Thanks to book friend Zhou Yu for the 2000 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1109. Although the ban on Nantianmen has been restored, it is far from what it was in ancient times. Haoshan's formation cultivation was far inferior to that of Dijun, who was in charge of Hichuluashu. With a boom of the axe, Xing split open the Nantian gate. Xing came directly to the Lingxiao palace. The immortal officials who were blocking the way were killed by him and their blood flowed into rivers. Under the divine axe of Qianqi, anyone who stands in his way is invincible. Seeing all this, Haoshan, who was holding a dragon head crutch, felt extremely painful in his heart. He was just helping out and betraying Saint Yuking. Who would have thought that Xing would be so reckless and let Feng Ho, who killed Zhufeng, go to heaven to fight against him? Seeing that the tribesmen he had spent 7 years cultivating were suffering heavy casualties under the axe of Xing Qian Kishan, he could no longer bear it. Xing, stop. Holding a dragon-headed crutch, Haoshan rushed out. You insidious villain who pretends to be the Emperor of Heaven must die before me. The godly axe of Qinkai slashed down violently, and the mighty light of the axe traveled all the way, breaking through the space. If it weren't for the tyrannical restrictions of the Lingxiao Palace, it would have been almost broken by the axe. Choke. Accompanied by the violent sound of gold and iron clashing, the dragon head crutch was instantly knocked away. A huge force came along the crutch, and Haoshan was also blown away. What an amazing strength! Haoshan was amazed in his heart. He originally thought that he was also at the peak of Hunyuan True Immortal, at the same level as Xing, and would definitely be able to stop him. But after this fight, I realized that I seemed to be no match for them. After Xing struck with an axe, he struck down with another axe. Haoshan didn't dare to force the attack and quickly retreated. Don't worry, Your Majesty, Yao Qi is here. In the majestic voice, a spiritual light flew over and instantly turned into a huge azure flag. The mighty azure aura bloomed like the rising sun. The Qinkai divine axe struck it, as if it were cutting on a ball of cotton, and felt no force at all. But through the violently trembling aura and the shaking flagpole, it was obvious that Yaokai was not feeling well either. Fortunately, there is a plain cloud flag, otherwise we really wouldn't be able to stop him. Haoshan and Yaokai teamed up to barely block Xin Tian. The fighting between the three Hunyuan true immortals almost destroyed the heavenly court. Haoshan's heart aches. Yaokai, if we leave here, if we continue to fight, heaven will be destroyed. Go to the lower world. The two people quickly urged the escape light to leave the heaven. Xin Tian was in hot pursuit, and the three of them fought from heaven to the wilderness, and from the sky to the earth. Xin Tian, who had completely exploded, completely suppressed Haoshan and Yaokai with his powerful Qinkai divine axe and shield, as well as his skillful combat skills. But without Xin Tian and Zhu Feng, Yinglong and Feng Ho, who were free, helped Guangqinzi, Qi Jingjing and others kill the great wizard Felian. Zhu Ying and Yu Shi saw that the situation was not good and ran away. Qi Wu was unable to survive alone and was defeated and captured. In the Battle of Zolu, the Zhuilai clan was defeated and completely withdrew from the battle between the emperor and the emperor. Don't panic, Emperor and Queen Mother of Heaven, Yinglong and Feng will come later. The two men came to help with their hands free. Haoshan Yaokai breathed a sigh of relief. The four cultivators fought Xin Tian together and finally gained the upper hand. Soon Guangqinzi also came to help with Yugu, and Qi Jingjia also came with Yin and Yang Zheng. Xin Tian gradually became clumsy. Boom! Guangqinzi beat the fishing drum violently, and the vast thunderous sound shook the soul. Xingtian's exquisite fighting skills were momentarily paused. Haoshan seized the opportunity and waved his dragon-headed cane, and the sharp Zhengjin divine light flashed across. Xin Tian's head fell off. With a stroke of the red sperm, Changyang Mountain on the earth opened and swallowed Xingtian's head. Guangqinzi quickly threw Fan Tianyan out and suppressed Xingtian's head. Seeing this, the cultivators were temporarily relieved. Although the great witch of the Wu clan is said to be reborn with blood and will not die even if he has no head, the leader of the six sons is bound by the essence of his body. If he throws it away, his strength will be reduced to 10 to 50, and the threat will be greatly reduced. Even if Xin Tianzhan dies here today, you all won't have an easy time. A crazy and thick voice sounded from the belly. Qian Qi's divine axe swung violently and started fighting with 6 people again. The strength actually hasn't declined at all from before the U-turn. How can this be? Not only 6 people didn't believe it, but most of the monks watching the battle couldn't believe it. However, no matter how strong Xin Tian is, it is still not as good as if 4 people join forces, especially Haoshan, Yaokai and Yinglong, whose cultivation levels are not inferior to him. Slowly, his qi and blood became weaker and weaker, and the power of Qinkai divine axe became weaker and weaker. Haha, Xin Tian, you will die here today, Haoshan laughed. The eyes formed from the breasts were filled with hatred unmatched by mountains and seas. Hate it, the more you hate it, the happier I will be. Haoshan continued to stimulate Xingtian's emotions. Although anger can greatly increase its strength and fight like crazy, it can also reveal its weaknesses inadvertently. In the heat of battle, weakness equals death. This was the case when Xin Tian was beheaded before. Haoshan. With a roar, Xin Tian rushed over crazily. Haoshan violently waved the dragon-headed crutch, and the space was exploded by powerful magic. Xin Tian waved the big shield in his hand. Boom! The loud noise was shocking, but it was picked up abruptly. The next moment, Yaokai, Yinglong, and Feng Hao's Taoists came over one after another. Contrary to everyone's expectations, Xin Tian did not hide. The sword and axe were applied to his body, and his body was cut into several sections in an instant, but no blood flowed out. Looking at this strange scene, especially Xin Tian's eyes full of hatred, Haoshan instinctively felt dangerous. Just as he was about to withdraw his dragon head crutches to protect himself, an ancient syllable suddenly sounded in his ears. Xingtian's physical body slowly disappeared, and a black-red, unusually clumsy talisman appeared in front of everyone. Looking at it, One instinctively feels the huge danger contained in it, as if a sharp knife is hanging on the neck, and blood will be splashed 3 feet if not careful. No one was stupid. Until then, Xing was desperate and retreated in unison. The talisman flashed with light, as if it had crossed space, and came to Haoshan before he could react. He looked shocked. Before he could react, the talisman had already integrated into his body. "Fall with me." A voice of hatred sounded with a hint of madness. The next moment, a burning heat emerged from the depths of his soul and instantly flowed throughout his body. "No." In the desperate roar, Haoshan's body melted rapidly like burning paraffin. The expressions of Yaokai, Yinglong, Feng Hao, and others changed greatly. The former's expression changed and he tried to use the plain cloud boundary flag to help, but it was of no use. Just when Haoshan's soul was about to be corrupted, a powerful force came instantly. Everything around them was sealed, and even Yaokai and the others had no power to resist. In an instant, a jade-colored Ruyi flew over after pressing 3 talents. With a flash of inspiration, Haoshan's soul gradually stabilized. But the strange curse of ecstasy and rotting bones still exists. Soon, a space channel opened in mid-air, and a spiritual light flew in, taking the form of Su Junming. "Fellow Taoist Yuanqi, if Xing crime does not lead to death, then let me take it away." The 3 precious jades' wishful light flashed, revealing the high crown and belt, and the majestic Yuanqi Tianzun appeared. He looked deeply at Su Junming, who looked at him and saw that the soul was entrusting him with his natal spiritual treasure. "I just don't know what kind of spiritual treasure has such power." Although the other party's aura was concealed, it had a vast and boundless feeling, which made him feel deeply fearful. "I didn't expect to meet fellow Taoists under such circumstances." Su Junming smiled calmly. "I didn't expect it either." As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched out his hand to grab it, and the black-red curse power in Haoshan's soul instantly flew out and fell into his hand. This move made Yuanqi Tianzun feel secretly shocked. Even if he wanted to get rid of this strange curse that had tainted his soul, it would still take a lot of effort. A friendly approach. Haha, there are just specialties in the art. With a wave of his sleeves, Xingtian's Qinkai divine axe and shield, as well as the sealed head that fell into Changyang Mountain, fell into his hands. "Everything is done, and I will go away. When I have some free time in the future, I will go to Kunlun Mountain to visit my Taoist friends. Su Dao, please leave." After the 2 people held hands, Su Junming's light and shadow instantly dissipated. Looking at the direction he was leaving, he pondered for a while, then stretched out his hand, and Haoshan's soul and dragon head crutch fell into his hands. Fortunately, he arrived in time. Although Haoshan's body disappeared and his soul collapsed, his soul was still intact. "It's also your destiny to have this calamity." He shook his head and put away his backhand. As soon as his heart moved, the powerful seal disappeared instantly. Yaokai, Yinglong, and Feng Hao seemed to be suffocating for a long time. The fish suddenly got oxygen and began to breathe heavily. After a moment, he quickly bowed and saluted. "See Yuking sage. See senior brother Yuking. No need to be polite, just get up. After all, you are the one who helps you explain your teachings, and you cannot let the other person's heart get cold." Yuanqi Tianzun, who has always been dignified and solemn and unsmiling, rarely showed a smile. "Thank you, Saint. Senior brother Yuking, Haoshan." He waved his hand. "Junior sister, please don't disturb me. This is the destiny of junior brother Haoshan. After the 3 UN meeting, he will return from the catastrophe and regain control of the heaven." Yaokai breathed a sigh of relief. As Yuanqi Tianzun waved his hand, 3 porcelain bottles flew in front of the 3 of them. "This is the 9 transformations golden pill that I obtained from the Supreme Being. Each of you has 3 pills. After taking them, your cultivation will be further improved." Yinglong and Feng Hao were overjoyed, and even Yao Kai looked happy. Tai's Hanglejun's 9 turns golden pill is a divine pill that is famous all over the world. It has profound medicinal power. After taking 3 pills, even the Hunyuan true immortal can rise to a small level, while the Hunyuan heavenly immortal is even more effective. Thank you, Saint. Yinglong and Feng Hao said quickly. With a slight nod, these people wished that they could take over the throne of the human emperor by explaining their teachings. They would take credit for their hard work, and of course they should be rewarded. No need to say thank you. You have been fighting hard for many years. It is not easy. Go back and rest early. As soon as the words fell, Haoshen's soul disappeared instantly. Soon we came to the land of Juyu. The thick netherworld energy is boundless, and not far away, 6 huge black holes emit powerful swallowing power. Birds and beasts, insects, fishes, grasses, humans, witches, demons, and endless souls flew in from the depths of darkness, and were swallowed up by 6 huge holes without any resistance. This is the prehistoric land of the will, the place where ghosts are reborn. Reincarnation. Thanks to Book Friend Clan, memories for the 1500 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1110. Staring at the place where the law of reincarnation condensed in the distance, Yuanshi Tianzun waved his left hand, and Haoshen's soul flew out. Thank you, senior brother Yuking, for saving your life. Haoshen's tone was a bit complicated. The reason why he intervened in the Human Emperor War was originally just to sell Yuanshi Tianzun a favor, and to recruit some named disciples of the Yuking sect to fill the empty heaven. Unexpectedly, meeting a lunatic like Xin Tian would not only reap the benefits, but also ruin his eons of cultivation and have to be reincarnated. What a miserable word. It's a pity that no matter how unwilling he is, he doesn't dare to stab in front of Yuanshi. Don't worry, junior brother, this reincarnation is your destiny. When you reincarnate in the future, you will still be the supreme emperor of heaven. Haoshen nodded. Having said that, after being killed by Xin Tian this time, the already thin heaven only had 2 or 3 big cats and kittens left. Even if he became the emperor of heaven, how much power and majesty would he have? But no matter how unwilling he is, we can only wait until he comes back from reincarnation. Senior brother Yuking, I'm going. Better go, junior brother. Yuanshi Tianzun withdrew his magic power, and Haoshen's soul could not resist the pull of the 6 paths of reincarnation and was quickly swallowed. After staring for a moment, he turned around and took a look into the depths of the netherworld. Then he turned into light and soared into the sky. He left the netherworld like lightning and returned to Kunlun Mountain. Hundreds of millions of miles away, in the depths of the netherworld, there is an ancient palace floating in the sky. The 4 characters Pingxin Hall on the plaque above are simple and unpretentious. In the main hall, Ho Tu, wearing a yellow robe, sat cross-legged. Su Junming sat opposite her. Your Highness, do you really not want Zhifeng and Xin Tian to return to the Wu clan? No, they have already been loyal to the Witch clan, and there is no need to come back and suffer the consequences of the Witch clan. Su Junming nodded, not expecting Ho Tu to say this. Zhenjun, do you still remember that drop of Pangu blood? Certainly. Su Junming's heart moved and he looked at the woman opposite. Smiling calmly, don't worry, Zhenjun. I'm not asking for it, but I just want to get rid of Zhenjun. Mother, please tell me. This time Xin Tian, Zhifeng, and Felian died in the battle. Zhuiying and Yushi alone are no longer enough to support the Wu clan. Therefore, I will ask the real person to take care of me in the future. This is an easy matter, but if a person from the Wu clan commits crimes and kills countless people, I will also deal with it. He didn't want to be implicated by the Wu clan and damage Kongshan's luck. This is natural. If possible, please ask the real person to move the Wu clan in the netherworld to Mount Buzhu and restrain them. Su Junming's heart moved. Aren't you afraid that the Wu clan will be completely annexed by our Chongshan mountain and disappear into the wilderness? So best. Seeing his surprised look, Hu Tu smiled. Liches are a thing of the past. There is no need for newcomers to bear the consequences of what we old people committed. Moreover, the witch race and the human race are both descendants of Pangu, and the latter are the protagonists of the prehistoric times. Integrating each other is the long-term solution. Looking at Ho Tu's calm eyes, it was obvious that she was not lying and had really let go. After a moment of silence, Su Junming suddenly smiled and said, "So, isn't it true that I have been tricked by the Empress? It's not a loss for real people. Pangu's essence and blood are the highest treasure of our witch clan." After nodding slightly, Su Junming slowly stood up. "I agree to the proposal of the Empress. If the Wu clan enters Buzhu Mountain, I will protect them from the mountain." "Thank you, Masato." Su Junming smiled lightly. "Farewell." Real people walk slowly. Looking at the figure slowly disappearing, Hu Tu sighed slightly. Without the causal involvement of the witch clan, she could finally pursue the holy path with peace of mind. In the future, there will only be peace of mind and no background. Yi Yin took away the shamans in the netherworld and placed them in the Buzhu mountain area. After dealing with those with profound karma, the rest were handed over to the management of the 7 deacons. Su Junming returned the Chaos Stone ball. He reached out and grabbed it, and 3 balls of good luck flew over. Spreading his palms, the spirits of Zhifeng, Xingtian, and Felian emerged. With a flick of the finger, the 3 souls merged into the aura of creation and quickly solidified. With a wave of his right hand, the figures of Zhifeng, Xingtian, and Felian instantly disintegrated, and their spirits regained their divine light. Since the witch clan no longer exists, you don't need to practice witchcraft anymore. It is also a good thing for you that the memory of the witch clan has disappeared. Go ahead. 3 rays of spiritual light fly towards the 18th level creation Qinglian, and when they reach perfection, they will transform into innate gods and no longer look like witches. After the Yun meeting, there will be 3 more true successors under my Chongshan section. After taking a look at the disciples who each relied on the best spiritual roots to cultivate, Su Junming returned to Chongshan residence. He sat down cross-legged, took a breath, spread his right hand, and a long banner with 81 mysterious runes appeared. It was the Swanyan Soul Gathering flag he gave to Chiyu. Over the past tens of millions of years, this sacred flag contains hundreds of billions of souls of Julai, Liashan, and Yuxian warriors, as well as the killing energy, death energy, evil energy, blood, and weapons left behind after their fighting. Divine consciousness immersed. A boundless sea of blood was reflected in the bottom of my heart. Thousands of soldiers wearing battle armor, holding weapons, maintaining their appearance after death, or filled with long arrows, or with missing limbs, formed a battle formation and fought madly. Above the sea of blood, the air of death, evil, and killing formed into lead clouds, thick and oppressive. If Su Junming's soul had not been strong enough and had the help of the Dian mirror, the evil spirit in the sea of blood would have aroused evil thoughts in his heart. This energy and blood is enough for my 24 heavenly gods and demon banners to accumulate enough foundation. With a thought in his heart, 24 large flags appeared all around. The thick sacred flags moved automatically without wind, and the invisible energy made everything around them seem to be frozen. Roar. Accompanied by earth-shattering roars. 12 ancestral witches, Dong Huang Tai, Fuxi, Zilong, Zai, Tianfeng, Styx, Tangxi, Tiankai, 20, Kangxiu, Kunpeng, Black Tiger, Daodi, 24 gods and demons from the gods' bands Hong jumped down. Years of accumulation and practice of infinite chaotic aura. The gods and demons in the 24 celestial gods and demon flags have infinitely approached the perfection of the Hunyuan Xianxian. Su Junming pinched the seal, and the mighty blood flew out from the Swanyan Soul Gathering flag, turned into 24 parts, and fell into the huge mouth of the gods and demons. At the same time, a series of seals flew from Su Junming's hand into the Swanyan soul-gathering flag. Restrictions were derived one after another, and the restrictions in the flag became stronger and stronger. At the same time, the evil energy, death energy, yin energy, and murderous energy accumulated in the divine flag began to be rapidly refined, and turned into the materials for the advancement of the divine flag. In ancient times, there was Seong City, and there was the Seong family's capital city. As the coalition forces of the Liaishan clan of the Yuxian clan completely defeated the Qiyu clan, the reputation of Ji Xianyuan, the leader of the Seong clan, spread throughout the world. Ji Xianyuan took the opportunity to announce that a tribal meeting would be held in Yuxian City. Taking advantage of the gathering of major tribes, after killing Qi Wu Liwei, he announced that the Seong clan alliance and the conquered Julai clan's affiliated tribes would be changed to the Xianyuan clan. And Ji Xianyuan became the first clan leader of the Xianyuan clan. At the same time, each tribe respected the Xianyuan clan as their co-lord. Ji Xianyuan also became the third co-leader of the human race after Fuxi and Sheneng, and the future human emperor clan. Looking at the high-spirited Ji Xianyuan on the high platform, wearing a crown and having great luck, Qiyu, who was hidden in the crowd, frowned. If my mentor hadn't allowed me to intervene, how would you have been able to become the human emperor? Although he has no interest in power, how can he feel calm when his evil corpse clone is killed by the opponent? Not wanting to see everyone praising Ji Xianyuan, he felt that it was almost time and quietly left the tribal gathering place with a single step. The construction of Yuxiang City is similar to that of Fuxi's capital city Huancaiyu, both of which were built on a huge hill. The inner city is solemn, luxurious, and home to the Seong family and nobles. No, it should be called Xianyuan clan now. The outer city of Xianyuan is the residence of merchants and common people. The tribal assembly is located in the Chengtian Hall in front of the inner city. After leaving here, Qiyu passed through many restrictions and came to the left side of the inner city. Looking at the courtyard in front of me, surrounded by bamboos and trees, with a quiet environment. This is it. Feel it silently for a moment. What a powerful formation. With a thought in his heart, a hill 3 feet high, covered with clouds and fog, appeared above the Baihui point above his head. This hill is the portable cave that all direct disciples of Chongshan have, also known as the Little Chongshan Cave. As Su Junming's cultivation continues to improve, the two paths of time and space continue to advance. The grade of this portable cave is also constantly improving, just like Qiyu's, which is already a top-grade Hunyuan Lingbao. It contains 100,000 miles of heaven and earth, and is dense with spiritual energy. Using the time and space method to practice, there are many wonderful functions such as the space methods so close to the end of the world and divine movement in the void. There are also the time methods speeding up and slowing down, as well as the magical functions of time sealing. It can be said that Xiao Chongshan, where Su Junming practiced time and space, is the top dojo in the world. With both hands making secrets, a celestial light flew forward. In the middle of nothingness, a black space channel instantly appeared. Qiyu flew in and reappeared in the bamboo forest. Following the path paved with stone slabs and passing through the forest, we came inside and saw an ordinary thatched house. In front of the thatched house, an old Taoist with green robe and white hair and an old Taoist with yellow robe and black hair were playing chess. It is Guangchenzi and Akazaki. The remaining people among the 12 golden immortals of Yugzi returned to the dojo after the Xianyuan clan won the battle of the human emperor. Congratulations, senior brother. This time Xiang helps Ji Xianyuan achieve the position of human emperor. He will definitely gain great merit and will be able to break through the Hunyuan realm soon. Haha, we are all happy together. Junior brother's merits are not small. It will take up to 10,000 years for him to advance to Hunyuan. A look of anticipation appeared on aka Seiko's face. He diligently helped Ji Xianyuan, Wasn't it just to accumulate merit and break through Hunyuan? Humph, I don't know what it means. The cold voice, like a thunder, instantly woke up the two brothers who were immersed in joy. Who? Come out. Guangquanzi instantly took out the Fantian seal, and the red sperm also activated the yin and yang realm. Qiyu, wearing a navy blue Taoist robe, a jade crown on his head, and holding a green bamboo staff, stepped out. Under the shroud of Xiao Kongshan's space divine power, his whole body momentum was isolated by the space barrier. In Guangquanzi and Qi Jingzi's perception, they could see the human form, but their spiritual consciousness could not detect the form. Thanks to book friends Xinyu Daddy and Dash, for each tip of 100 starting coins. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1111. Who are you, sir, and why did you break into my dojo, Guangquanzi? You can emphasize the pronunciation of your name, and the meaning is very direct. I am the direct disciple of Saint Yuking, so don't let me be presumptuous. Seeing the two people's alert looks, Qiyu said calmly. As a direct descendant of a saint, my cultivation is not even Hunyuan, and I have the nerve to show off. It's really embarrassing. As soon as these words came out, Guangquanzi's face instantly swelled up to the color of pig liver, and the face of Qi Jingzi next to him was also full of anger. He was the second disciple of Yuking sect, and like his senior brother, he was a Dologo Jinxian. The thief is bold. With an angry shout, Fan Tianyan's light shined brightly, and with a shocking power, it struck directly at Qiyu. It would be fine if you were in the Hunyuan wonderland, but it's a pity that you're just Dologo. As soon as his heart moved, the red gourd on his waist shone brightly, and the bright aura was like a waterfall, instantly welcoming Fan Tianyan. The latter's lightning-fast speed slowed down for an instant. It's like being stuck in a quagmire, getting slower and slower. When he came 3 feet in front of Qiyu, he finally stopped moving. The 3 treasures passed down from Chongshan, Xiao Chongshan, a storage gourd and a sapphire staff. The highest grade of Xiao Chongshan is a high-grade Hunyuan Lingbao, the storage gourd is a middle-grade Hunyuan Lingbao, and the sapphire staff is a low-grade Hunyuan Lingbao. Lingbao. But who gave him a good master? As the direct disciple of Taoist Tiangong, the storage gourd was trained by him in the way of sealing. It has become a top-grade Hunyuan Lingbao, with 9 inner restraints, and its power is still higher than the Fantian seal with 7 restraints. The sapphire staff also became a middle-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure as Chu advanced to the level of Hunyuan true immortal. Coupled with the huge gap in cultivation and Taoism between the two sides, Qiyu was instantly defeated. Guangquanzi and Qi Jingzi were shocked. Just as they were about to escape using the escape light, their bodies were enveloped by the sealing divine light, and their mana and even their spiritual thoughts were sealed. He reached out and made a move, and the bag of magic at Guangquanzi's waist flew into his hand. Soon, Qi Wu was chopped into 5 pieces of flesh, and his tiger soul demon sword and armor, as well as the sealed Fantian seal, were all taken away by Qiyu. As for the soul falling bell, the male and female sword, the Cao Xia Yi, the yin and yang realm and other treasures, Qiyu did not touch them. After returning the magic bag to Guangquanzi, he glanced at the two of them, urged Xiao Chongshan, and his figure disappeared instantly. The powerful force that sealed the sky and locked the earth also dissipated. Call. Hironariko and aka Seiko panted heavily. Senior brother, who is this person? He is too strong. Guangquanzi shook his head, feeling extremely painful in his heart. The Fantian seal given by his master was taken away. It was the most precious treasure in his hand, and its power was still higher than that of the soul-falling bell. Let's go to Kunlun Mountain to see Master and ask him to seek justice for us. The red sperm nodded. That person's cultivation level was far above theirs, and he still bullied the younger ones and robbed their treasures. Of course, he had to ask the master to seek justice. It's the same as asking a parent if a child is bullied. Return to Yugzu Palace in Kunlun Mountain. Guangqinzi told the story exactly. You said that person took away your Pantheon seal and Qi Yu's body, but did not touch the other treasures. Yes. Yuan Shi frowned slightly. Did that person come for Fan Tianyan or Qi Yu's corpse? Do you remember that person's face? Remember? Guangqinzi flicked his fingers, and a spiritual light flew out, instantly transforming into Qi Yu's figure. However, no one in the entire hall recognized him, not even Yuanshi Tianzun had any impression. Subconsciously stimulating the deduction of magic formulas, the secrets of heaven are chaotic and nothing is gained. Someone took action to cover up the secret for him. He snorted coldly. The clouds surged behind him, and a long black flag emerged from the void. The black flag moved automatically without wind, and the cold Hunyuan sword Qi danced around the long black flag like a swimming fish, and the space it passed was silently torn into pieces. Standing in the main hall, Guangqinzi and Qi Jingzi felt the huge murderous intention coming from the long black flag, and felt their hearts become cold, and they lowered their heads unconsciously. Master's Pangu flag is so powerful. As one of the three divine weapons of heaven, Yuanqi used the Pangu flag to assist in deducing the law of heaven, and its power was several times stronger. Soon the mighty river of destiny appeared in his heart, but before he could figure out any useful information, a powerful spiritual light flew out of the river. A bang sound directly shook his soul out. Yuanqi Tianzun was shocked in his heart, and couldn't help showing a hint of shock on his face. Who is it? Such a strong practitioner of fate. He could sense that the spiritual light was a Taoist magic rather than a treasure. Being able to drive such a powerful destiny method means that the other party's understanding of this method has already advanced to the wonderful realm of Hunyuan. Otherwise, there is no way to drive away myself who is protected by Pangu banner. In ancient times, those who believed in fate were the eldest brothers, Ji Yin and Fu 11. Although Fu 11 is the emperor, he is not capable of driving me out of the river of destiny. Brother, it's even more impossible. The most likely thing is to take the lead. Although the result was obtained, Yuanqi Tianzun was not completely sure. The wilderness is vast, and no one knows how many old monsters left over from the beginning and the ancient times are hidden in it. After trying again, but still being knocked down by the spiritual light, Yuanqi stopped. I don't believe that you will always hide behind the scenes and wait until you are exposed in the future to settle the accounts with you. With a wave of his left hand, a beam of light fell in front of Guangqinzi. The power of this Hunyuan chisel is not under Fantian seal, so it is given to you. Looking at the iron chisel with strong aura in front of him, Guangqinzi felt excited and quickly thanked him. Don't worry about this matter, I will handle it myself. Go down and practice well. Disciple resigns. The spiritual light of the divine ball in Su Junming's palm bloomed, and it took a long time to calm down. It seems that Yuanqi Tianzun has given up. He originally thought he would use the Dian divine mirror, but now he has saved a lot of energy. He put away the divine ball of heaven and earth, stretched out his hand and used a move to fly the infinite spiritual water of good fortune. After integrating into Qi Wu's body, all the turbid air in his body was cleansed. The broken limbs, head, and torso were restored to life and grew back together. About 7 days later, with a wave of his sleeves, all the strange phenomena disappeared. 3 feet away in front of him, only the body of Qi Wu, who was nearly 10 feet tall, wearing black armor and with hot blood, was left. Okay, let's put the soul of your evil corpse clone in. Qi Yu next to him nodded. As early as after Qi Wu was beheaded, his soul was recovered by the Swanyan soul-gathering flag. As his heart moved, a black spiritual light flew into Qi Wu's body. Boom, like a volcano erupting, a powerful force of energy and blood rises into the sky. His eyes opened, and 2 streaks of blood spread across the sky. Get down on one knee. Chi Wu would like to thank you, great uncle, for your help. He waved his hand. Get up, you will major in martial arts in the future, and you no longer need to practice witchcraft. Disciple, obey. Su Junming took out the Swanyan Soul Gathering flag. This treasure is now a top-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure. Its power is dozens of times greater than before. You should use it with caution. Chi Yu took it respectfully. Disciple, please obey the orders of the great uncle. Go ahead. Disciple resigns. After Chi Wu transformed into spiritual light and integrated into Chi Yu's body, he said goodbye and left Chongshan residence, returning to the Chaos Stone Ball. Spreading his left palm, a large seal of a dragon and a turtle intertwined emerged. Fantianyan. As soon as his heart moved, the heavenly talisman in his dantian vibrated instantly. The cook eats the ox. The forbidden law in the Great Seal collapsed instantly, and in an instant, a huge black mountain hundreds of millions of feet high emerged. In a trance, it seemed as if an infinitely tall giant stood proudly, with its thick and powerful momentum suppressing the past, future, and 3,000 worlds. He shook his head to get rid of the influence of Buzaoshan Pangu's lingering thoughts. Activate the mana in the body and vibrate the time talisman. Return to our roots. The majestic spiritual sound is like the beginning of the world, magnificent and vast. The next moment, the huge black mountain became more powerful. The mountain became narrower and shorter, and its color became lighter. Gradually, the white color became thicker and thicker, and the huge mountains shrank. A spine that is 30 million feet high and filled with infinite life essence appears in front of you. Ah! A huge figure with a height of 120 million feet roared. It was obviously silent, but Su Junming felt that the sound was deafening, coming from infinite time and space. Pangu. After staring for a moment, he waved his sleeves. Pangu's phantom disappeared, and half of the 30 million foot long spine slowly fell into his palm and disappeared. The figure flashed and came to the Chaos Stone Ball. Tiangong Taoist's physical body has expanded a lot, and the natal spiritual roots of the surrounding direct disciples of Chongshan are also growing under the nourishment of chaotic spiritual energy. With one step, you can travel hundreds of millions of miles in an instant. In the blink of an eye, he came to the top of the 18th grade creation green lotus. Around Qinglian, there is endless ocean-like aura of creation. Waving his sleeves, the aura of the cloud cover dispersed, revealing the huge body underneath. It is also 120 million feet tall, but at this moment the bones are only average, and the rest looks very illusory. A shallow layer of flesh and blood has grown on the bones, which looks a bit scary. With a wave of his left hand, the 3,000-foot-long spine he just obtained flew out. Without Su Junming's urging, this half of the vertebrae quickly merged into the body below like a baby swallow throwing itself into the forest. The two sides are seamlessly connected, as if two drops of water have merged with each other. The spine is the center of the human skeleton and the vital place where life depends. It is even more important than the skull. See you soon. Infinite life essence flows from the spine throughout the body. The bones of the lower body, which were originally somewhat illusory, quickly solidified. The flesh and blood all over the body is also growing rapidly, and more importantly, the internal organs seem to have found their own position and are growing rapidly. Boom! With the beating of the heart, countless creation spiritual energy was absorbed, and gradually, a drop of blue blood essence condensed out. The aura of the physical body suddenly improved a lot. After a short time, the second drop of blood began to condense. I don't know how much time passed, but the blood of the third goblin slowly condensed. At this moment, all 365 bones of the physical body have turned into substance. The internal organs are fully grown, the muscles wrap around the bones, and the tough epidermis provides the outermost protection. Compared to the blur of flesh and blood at the beginning, what is now lying on his back in the sea of creation spirit is a complete human body. The muscles all over his body are tangled, and his strong body seems to contain infinite strength. His long black hair is spread around his head, and his rugged appearance with thick eyebrows and big eyes reveals a bold and wild temperament. Su Junming had never seen Pangu's true form so clearly. Thanks to the book Friend King for the 100 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1112. Shua. A flash of light flashed, and a fat Tiangong Taoist wearing a yellow Taoist robe flew over. Done. Yeah. I didn't expect that half of the spine was so powerful. Su Junming was also a little surprised, but it's still far behind Pangu's peak. According to rumors, there were 24 drops of blood essence in Pangu's body, but this body now only had 3 drops, which was far from enough. Although there is a slight difference, if Lao Ba is reincarnated now, he will be born as a Hunyuan golden immortal, and his starting point will be the highest among the 8 of us, Tiangong Taoist said. Being born late naturally has many benefits, isn't it the same for you? Taoist Tiangong smiled lightly. When will the tribulation be overcome? Soon. With one step, the figure disappeared instantly. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Looking at the retreating figure, Taoist Tiangong shook his head slightly. This guy went to Wawang Heaven again. Su Junming did go to Wawang Heaven. After millions of years, through his unremitting efforts, and with the 2 little guys Su Bui and Su Bui mediating in the middle, Nuwa's attitude towards him was no longer as bad as it was at the beginning. Although I am not a Taoist monk yet, it is not difficult to visit occasionally. Arrive at Wawangtian with ease. This Hunyuan world created by Nuwa is modeled on the prehistoric continent, and it is also supported by Tianfeng Mountain, which is similar to Buzhu Mountain. Tianfeng Mountain was restricted by Nuwa, and no one could go up without her permission. Of course, Su Junming, who is proficient in the 2 paths of time and space, as well as the formation path, is an exception. He arrived at the Wa Palace smoothly. The palace guards who were guarding him already knew him and came forward to greet him. Si Chongshan Sage. Where is your queen? Your Majesty is in Chifeng Palace. After slightly nodding, he waved his hand, and several rays of spiritual light flew into his hand. It's for you. Feeling the powerful spiritual elixir in the palm of his hand, the palace people were overjoyed. Thank you, Saint. Go ahead. He urged the escaping light to bypass the most majestic Wa Palace and reach the back mountain. There are many pavilions and pavilions along the mountain scenery here. Chifeng Palace is one of them, and it is also the place where Nuwa usually rests. Su Junming's escaping light fell on a wide cliff protruding from the mountain. Flowers bloomed on the left and right, and a waterfall flowed out of the mountain, falling with a roar and raising a large white mist. Under the sunlight, 7 rainbow lights hung on a palace pavilion. On the stone tablet next to the palace pavilion, there are 3 characters of Red Phoenix Palace engraved on it. With one step, he entered the main hall. A woman in palace attire was standing on guard in front of the palace. When she saw him, she quickly stepped forward to greet him. The Golden Phoenix meets the saint. Where is your mother-in-law? Resting in the palace. Seeing Su Junming striding towards him, Jin Feng, as a disciple, thought for a moment and did not stop him. Of course, she also knew she couldn't stop it. Stepping into the hall, Nuwa, who was on the cloud bed inside, had already walked over. How did you come? Come see you and the kids. We can get by just fine without you watching. This makes me feel relieved. Hearing that his tone was wrong, Nuwa frowned. Is there something wrong with you? Haha, I knew I couldn't hide it from you. He sat cross-legged on the futon next to Nuwa. The latter looked calm. This kind of thing had happened not once or twice, but she was used to it. Turned. Nuwa. Say something quickly. Su Junming's pointed eyes made her feel quite uneasy. Be my Taoist companion. As soon as he finished speaking, a powerful force of magic rushed towards him. With a thought in his heart, an infinite space opened up just a short distance away. This magic power rushed towards him, but its power floated half of his clothes. You must give up on this idea, it's impossible, Nuwa said coldly. Su Junming smiled. Although he was rejected, it didn't matter. This is not said once or twice. And he could clearly feel that compared to the clear disgust at the beginning, although Nuwa's words were tough now, her tone was much softer. Haha, it seems that I have no chance with you. Nuwa turned her head and said, if you are so secretive, just leave. Okay, I'm going to overcome the tribulation, the Hunyuan Xianxian heavenly tribulation. Nuwa's expression instantly became solemn. What monks fear most is heavenly catastrophe, and of course Nuwa is the same. However, due to her merits, she was directly promoted from the early stage of Hunyuan True Immortal to the late stage of Hunyuan Xianxian without surviving the tribulation. But too many of her contemporaries fell to the Hunyuan Xianxian heavenly tribulation. You already have the strength of a saint. There is no need to rush through the heavenly tribulation. You can practice in the realm of Hunyuan True Immortal for a while longer. Shaked his head. I can't get in now, and it would be a waste of time to stay. Have you decided? When does it begin? Let's see you and the two children. We'll start when we get back. After a pause. If you are willing to come, you can also come to watch the ceremony together. I'm too lazy to see how you died under the heavenly tribulation, but Qing Kong and Qing Qing are already Hunyuan celestial immortals. Letting them see the heavenly tribulation of Hunyuan Xianxian in advance will be good for their future. Su Junming smiled, not bothering to expose Nuwa's excuse. Where are the two children? I asked Ling Zuzi to take them to Emperor Wa's heaven to practice in the world. Nuwa's Emperor Wa's heaven is about 1/10 the size of the prehistoric world. There are countless demon cultivators in it, which is equivalent to a miniature version of the prehistoric world. With Su Bugui and Su Bugui's Hunyuan celestial immortal level cultivation, they would not encounter any danger. Hua Wang heaven is indeed the most suitable place for their training. Why don't we discuss the Tao every time they come back? My cultivation of the Tao of creation will be much better than before the Four Elements meeting. Nuwa thought of her past and gave him a fierce look. If it weren't for the sake of the two children, I would definitely kill you. Su Junming smiled calmly. If there were not two children, the two of them would not have much interaction. Glancing at him, he hesitated for a moment. Why do you want to understand so many Taoist methods? If you only cultivated any one of the martial arts, space, creation, or formation methods, you would have advanced to the Hunyuan Golden Immortal by now, and even had a glimpse of the Hongmeng realm. As we have been dating for a long time, we have a much deeper understanding of Su Junming. Being able to practice the four paths together, and being able to elevate his practice to the realm of Hunyuan Xianxian, Su Junming's talents are undoubtedly among the best in the world. Even better than teacher Hung Jun. I am naturally curious. If I had only practiced one path, I would have been possessed by demons and died a misfortune. Moving backward, invisible strength held his body up, his posture was lazy. The way of cultivation is to follow your heart. If you have no worries, you will naturally make progress. What you said is somewhat similar to the principle of guiding and mentioning them. The way of cultivation is to reach the same destination through different paths. There is nothing surprising about it. As he spoke, several rays of spiritual light flew in at extremely fast speeds like falling stars. They landed on the ground and transformed into three children who looked to be 8 or 9 years old. The one at the front is wearing a yellow waistcoat, with a gold ring slung across his back, a small gold crown on his head, and a red tassel gun in his hand. He looks heroic. The one behind is wearing a green waistcoat, with a gold ring hanging around his neck, a magic sword on his back, a golden silk ribbon around his waist, tied with a red gourd, and a green bamboo staff in his hand. At the end is a little girl with a double bun. There are gold rings on each wrist and ankle, a red gourd hanging on the waist, and a red tassel wrapped around the body, which is obviously a treasure. It was Nuwa's disciple Lingzuzi, as well as Su Bui and Su Bui. Daddy. Xiao flew up in surprise. Su Bui was calm and steady by nature and stopped when he got close. Su Bui jumped directly into Su Junming's arms. He picked up his daughter. Haha, let daddy see if we, Ching Ching, have made any progress since we haven't been here for a while. Of course, people can use kung fu to practice. If you don't believe me, ask your mother. The little girl's face was filled with pride. Your mother told me that you sneaked out to play a few days ago. He smiled and pinched his daughter's nose. Mother lied. Nuwa waved and hugged her daughter over. I love you so much for nothing, you actually dare to arrange for me, mother. Daddy. Su Buledin forgot to salute respectfully. Looking at Su Buwang, who looked like an adult, Su Junming also gave him enough respect. Yes, he is already in the late stage of Hunyuan celestial immortal. Thanks to the elixir given by father and mother, otherwise the child would never have made such a big progress. Patted him on the shoulder. The days are long, don't push yourself too hard. Children, please remember your father's teachings. After smiling and nodding, his eyes turned. Lingzuzi, they didn't cause you any trouble along the way, right? The two junior brothers and sisters are very capable and help me a lot. Su Junming smiled, spread his left palm, and 3 spiritual talismans flew over. These 3 talismans were practiced by me personally. Each has its own magical effect. It can save your life at critical moments. Feeling the powerful spiritual pressure on the 3 spiritual talismans, he knew that they were extremely rare treasures. Considering the special relationship between the other party and his master, the spiritual beads did not refuse. Thank you, Saint, for giving me this treasure. After smiling and nodding, Su Junming turned to look at Nuwa. Let's go. Are you really ready? Certainly. Nuwa stood up. Then let's go. Su Junming waved his sleeves, and the invisible force rolled up Lingzu, Su Bui, and the golden phoenix outside the palace, taking Nuwa deep into the chaos. Soon, a huge stone ball made entirely of chaotic rock appeared in front of him. Seeing this huge chaos divine stone for the first time, even Nuwa could not help but show surprise. Moreover, she felt the powerful forbidden law from this chaos divine stone. Layers upon layers, interconnected, and extremely complex. This is your dojo. Su Junming smiled and nodded. Over the course of 7 multifaceted meetings, this huge chaotic stone ball has been refined into the top chaotic spiritual treasure by Tiangong Taoist priests. Its defensive power is so strong that even Tai's Hanglejun's heaven and earth Xianhuang exquisite pagoda may not be able to surpass it. How is this place? Where did you get such a huge chaos divine stone? This was originally a chaotic god and demon. After I killed it, it fell into my hands. After many years of sacrifice, it became what you see now. Come on, I'll take you in. Grabbing Nuwa's arm, the latter struggled briefly and then gave up. Su Junming smiled slightly, took a step, and disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he was already inside the Chaos Stone Ball. This is a space wider than the prehistoric starry sky world, filled with a huge amount of chaotic spiritual energy. But what really shocked Nuwa was the huge tortoise occupying the center of the place. Suingi! Nuwa exclaimed. As someone who had personally participated in killing the ancient black turtle, she was too familiar with this mythical beast. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1113. Wrong. Nuwa quickly noticed something unusual. The black turtle she killed was not as huge as the one in front of her. Its huge size had exceeded that of her Emperor Wa, and its two huge heads, one bronze and one milky white, were completely different from the former North Sea turtle. Different. Moreover, the aura on the opponent's body was obviously at the level of the Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Even because of the huge body of the Chaos God and Demon, as well as the amazing mana, he was the strongest even among the Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Seeing Nuwa's shocked look, Su Junming smiled. This is the seventh patriarch of my Chongshan Academy, Tiangong, whose Taoist name is Taijin Taoist Lord of Creation. While he was talking, a short, fat and rich-looking half-century-old man suddenly appeared in front of him, wearing a yellow Taoist robe, a silk ribbon around his waist, and a green gourd. Fellow Taoist Nuwa, heaven has made a right decision. Facing this Hunyuan Golden Immortal who was comparable to a saint, Nuwa did not dare to be negligent and quickly returned the favor. Nuwa has met the true king. My senior brother is very fond of Taoist friends, and the two of us have linear. It can be said that we have a deep fate. If we form a Taoist couple, it will become a good story in the ancient world. Nuwa smiled but did not speak. His eyes wandered over Su Junming and Taoist Tiangong, and he was secretly shocked. This person is rank 7th, which means there are 5 more ancestors in Chongshan Academy, and they are at least at the Hunyuan level. Uncle 7th Master. Su Bui and Su Bui quickly stepped forward to greet him. Haha, this time your father is going through the tribulation. Please watch from the side with peace of mind and don't disturb him. Daddy wants to survive the tribulation. The two little guys quickly looked at Su Junming, their eyes full of questions. Dad has reached the level of Hunyuan True Immortal. He is about to go through the heavenly tribulation. You too have reached the level of Hunyuan Heavenly Immortal. After a few Yuan Hui, you will also face the same calamity as Dad. Watch carefully and treat you well. It will also serve as a reference for you to overcome the tribulation in the future. Yes, Daddy. There was no worry on the faces of the two little guys. In their hearts, their father had great powers and would definitely be able to successfully overcome the disaster. Several rays of light flew over. Each chi machine is extremely powerful. After a while, 7 or 8 beings with different appearances but extremely powerful cultivation appeared on the spot. The first one was wearing a green willow leaf Taoist robe, with long hair hanging down the back of his head. He had a misty aura and a clear face. He was carrying a green bamboo staff and his cultivation level was also that of a Hunyuan Golden Immortal. The second one is wearing linen clothes and a pair of straw sandals on his feet. He is tall and has rough skin. He looks like an old farmer in the mortal world. However, his body is extremely rich in the aura of greenwood and exudes a strong fragrance of alchemy. He is obviously the existence of fellow practitioners of greenwood and alchemy. Is already a Hunyuan Xianxian. The third one is wearing a red palace robe and a phoenix crown. He has a graceful and elegant temperament. His cultivation has reached the peak of Hunyuan Celestial Immortal and is on the verge of transcending the tribulation. The fourth one is wearing a black cloud pattern Taoist robe, with long hair shawl, face like a crown jade, handsome appearance, exuding a unique Taoist charm. It's like the Tao of alchemy, but not entirely, it's like the Tao of instruments, but it's not accurate either. Nuwa couldn't see it anyway. The fifth. Fellow Taoist Zhen Yuan, why are you here? Nuwa asked in surprise. I have become a disciple of Chongshan, and now my mentor is sitting down to directly pass on the 4 disciples, Zhen Yuanzi said with a smile. Although he had only joined Chongshan for less than half a century, he had already fully realized the benefits of being a direct disciple of Chongshan. Not to mention anything else, the Dian Divine Mirror alone made it difficult for him to part with it. Now even if Su Junming drives people away, he will not leave. Nuwa glanced at Su Junming subconsciously, her face full of disbelief. She really couldn't imagine how charming this man was that he could actually make Zhen Yuanzi, a contemporary of hers who was still above her in cultivation, become his disciple. In addition to Zhen Yuanzi, the cold-faced young man in the green lotus robe next to her was only in the Hunyuan true immortal realm, but the aura on his body made even a saint like her feel a little stressed. But in comparison, the fat Taoist priest in red robe next to this person shocked her even more. Fellow Taoist Hongyuan. Fellow Taoist Nuwa, it's been a long time. You are not. Haha, thanks to the protection of Taoist brother Zhen Yuanzi for hundreds of millions of years, and the rescue of his uncle and mentor, Hongyuan finally came back to life and regained his cultivation. Hongyuan raised his hand and saluted, then smiled. Nuwa's heart became more and more shocked. She never expected that Taoist Hongyuan, who was originally thought to be dead, would actually be resurrected and become a disciple of Chongshan. The two men behind Hongyuan are both Hunyuan celestial immortals, so they can't be considered outstanding. In contrast, she was even more curious about the person who stood at the head of the disciples and had the cultivation of Hunyuan golden immortal. Who is this? Yang Mei has met fellow Taoist Nuwa. Yang Mei, Yang Mei. The sound instantly rose an octave. The five ancient saints. The past of the ancient times has become a thing of the past. Now Yang Mei is the first of the second generation of Chongshan Academy. Yang Mei raised her hand and said. This really shocked Nuwa. Zhen Yuanzi may also be grateful for Hongyuan being rescued and become a disciple of Chongshan. Yang Mei, who is the five ancient saints, is different. This is an existence that can be compared with teacher Hung Jun. Looking at Yang Mei's calm expression, Nuwa could feel that he was not lying. If that's the case. Looking at him, Taoist Tiangong next to him, these are the two Hunyuan golden immortals, plus the Hunyuan Xianxian perfection, Zhen Yuanzi who has already peaked at the Hunyuan golden immortals. Without a Yuanhui, Chongshan Academy would have three a Hunyuan golden immortal, plus Su Junming who is a saint. This is the combat power of the four saints. Although it's not as good as Suanmen, it's still very close. And I don't know if there are any Hunyuan golden immortals among the other Chongshan patriarchs. After thinking about this clearly, Nuwa's heart sank slightly. This is a force that is enough to completely change the existing pattern of prehistoric times. Don't worry. In fact, Chongshan Academy doesn't have much interest in Honghuang. If Ren Shanja and Western sect don't take the initiative to provoke us, Chongshan will not do anything to them, Su Junming said in a message. Aren't you afraid that I will tell you if you reveal this to me? Don't be afraid. Because you are the mother of two children. Of course, even though he said that, the reason is still his strength. As long as he survives today's catastrophe, Su Junming won't be afraid even if Hung Jun takes action. You guys will wait again, and I will see you again after surviving the catastrophe. Come on, Daddy. Su Bui remembered that her father often said this when he encouraged her. After smiling and nodding to his daughter, he took a step forward, and the infinite space shrank under his feet, and billions of miles passed by in an instant. The surrounding area was empty, with only the powerful chaotic aura coming and going. This is it. With a wave of his hand, 24 rays of divine light spanned thousands of miles and landed in the depths of chaos. Boom! 24 magnificent divine flags with a height of 90 million feet appeared, and the powerful impact overwhelmed the chaos. Next moment, 24 gods and demons jumped down from the giant banner. The earth-shattering roar shook billions of miles of chaos. The powerful aura shocked everyone watching from a distance. Of course, Tiangong Taoist is an exception. Nuwa's pupils shrank, and it was generally believed in the ancient world that Su Junming, the true king of Chongshan, achieved the holy throne by improving the witch clan's 12 capitals of heavenly gods. But today when I saw these 24 giant flags, I realized how wrong I was. It has far exceeded the scope of the 12 capital heavenly gods formation. But what she didn't expect was that her brother would be included in the 24-sided Tianshensha formation. I remember that after the Lich battle, 6 drops of blood essence were missing from my brother's body. It should have been taken away by him as expected. Chongshan disciples have long heard about their teachers Tushan Shensha formation and Tushan Shenbane, but today is the first time they see the full picture. Uncle Grandmaster is indeed a genius. These 24 gods and demon flags bring together many mysteries such as time and space, formations, souls, etc. They are so powerful that they can be called the greatest formation in the world. Chiyu praised. He majored in Tiangong Dao, which naturally included Formation Dao, so he could clearly sense the tyranny of the formation restrictions in the 24 heavenly gods and demon banners. When these 24 gods and devil flags survive the catastrophe and give birth to the 10th restriction, there will be no more rivals for master in the entire prehistoric world, Yang Mei said with finality. Everyone around Zhenyuanzi, Hongyuan Taoist, Zhang Shinian, etc. all nodded. The Chongshan Academy's collection of books, which is only open to Hunyuan disciples, contains records about the Wu clan's clan-suppressing formation, the 12 capital heavenly gods and evil formation. They all know that the most powerful thing about this formation is that it can harness the power of heaven and earth from the prehistoric world. The 12 ancestral witches of the Wu clan are no more than Hunyuan true immortals, so they can use this great formation to borrow combat power equivalent to that of a saint. Pangu's true body, which was created by his master's 24 top-quality Hunyuan spiritual treasures, can naturally borrow stronger power from heaven and earth. Boom! Along with the first thunder, the billowing chaotic spiritual energy turned into calamity energy that filled the sky, overwhelming the sky and the earth. In less than a quarter of an hour, the first thunder calamity had been struck. The bursting thunder turned into 24 rays, instantly covering 24 gods and demon flags.